Hello.
How's it going?
You guys seem very mellow. Were you getting high?
Jessica needs. Oh, I had a nap, so I'm good.
I didn't get a nap. I've been up
I
since
wish I had a
4
nap.
4
it was so
a.m.
good. I remember like
Ugh.
getting up at the office here. I'm on the computer. It's like 1:30, and it's like, yeah, I finished everything for the day. I was excited. Like I'm dancing to the bed, and like I'm gonna take a nap. It's nap time, and it was exciting.
Was it like that?
I was so happy because it's like nap time.
I wish I could
I
nap.
wish I had a nap this weekend.
I can
a
never
lot of work
nap.
this weekend. I can.
I can't nap.
I'm not a napper. I just can't do it. I will
I
literally
definitely can.
look like hell.
My brain doesn't shut
Yeah.
off.
And I
Well,
can't
well,
do a short nap. I need to do like at least an hour or 90 minutes, if not longer.
Oh, he did like a 3-hour nap.
No,
I woke you. You said went
no,
one. I
you
woke
gave
up
me
at,
1 hour.
I woke you up at 4:15.
No, you woke me up at 4 because I looked at the clock and I go, bitch, I told that bitch fucking 4:30, and I sent you a message at 2:41.
Oh, so you didn't go. You didn't lay
2:41,
down at
3:40.
1:30,
So-
did you?
Yeah, so you gave me an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't
So-
give you. You just asked
Yeah.
me to wake you up.
Yeah,
I had to go get Gabby, so I was leaving, so I woke you up.
yeah. I'm a yeah. There's that fine line of like an hour nap is good, but 3-hour naps, you're like, what day is it?
Exactly. You
Is it
wake
the
up a new
next day?
person.
I don't know what's going on.
And I
Okay.
can turn around and go to bed at a normal time too.
Oh,
It
yeah,
doesn't
well,
affect it.
Not me.
3
me and
hours
Jen-
of sleep is like a Tuesday night normally sleeping. I mean,
no, me and Jen are on the same. I could
can't.
90-minute nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fuck
And,
that.
and if bedtime was 2 hours later, I'm like, all right, time
Nah.
to bed.
Same here. No
Yeah.
problem
I need to get
whatsoever.
Time to get another 8 hours in.
I can't do that.
Mm-mm.
And I did. I could. I was. Wait. I could have slept in today. 4 o'clock. I was like, I'm awake.
We were up at
Absolutely.
5 yesterday morning, thanks
Yeah.
to having a garage sale, and then I was up at 5:30 this morning and decided I need to try to sleep some more, and then got up at 8. I know you were up early.
I was up early moving furniture by
But
myself
we will-
because I had two 15-year-old boys in the house
Joe had his
sleeping, lazies.
Best buddy JC stay over last night.
I'm some 50-year-old fat man moving freaking furniture by myself while I got two strapping lads upstairs sleeping. And you know what? Honestly, it was better with just me.
It probably
Yep.
was.
I didn't,
don't know
I didn't have
why.
Jennifer. No offense, but I had
None
Jennifer.
taken.
I didn't have the boys like, what do you want me to do? You want me to lift this end up? No, what do you want me to do? Like all of a sudden they become stupid.
Two 15-year-old boys that don't understand physics. They don't understand what fulcrums and things like that. And it's like, no, don't just grab it from there. Just use your sense.
That's even way deeper than that. They don't even understand fucking weight. It's like,
Yeah.
he just
And
Joe,
they're both smart kids. Like
Yeah, Joe will sit
Joe's
there and look
buddy
at me
is
at times.
just as smart as Joe.
You're still on the interruption freaking
Yeah,
thing
sorry.
going, aren't you? Fucking like
He said this week, and I
super
was very
interrupting
bad,
today
super
this
inter-
week.
Hey,
God damn.
happy 10th episode. We're
Oh.
we're all still
Episode.
together.
Friday and Saturday, I have about 50 freaking sentences that are still waiting to be finished. Still waiting. And then her dad came over yesterday to talk to us, and he walks over, and she's talking to him. And I could see as he did you did it to me today too, and Joe
Yeah.
saw it, he was laughing. They do the lip wind up, like they're waiting for you to just finish so they can say what they want to say. And as soon as she was done, he's just like, "Hey, guess where I'm working now? Guess what I'm doing business?" And she looked at me and gave me this look, and I go, "Now you know what it's like." That's literally it right there.
That was also when my brother called earlier this week too. I said to Kerr, I'm like, "Is that how I am with you?"
I was like, yeah.
Because I couldn't, I was trying to talk to my brother, and he just kept interrupting me. And then finally I said, "You just need to talk to him." I said, "I can't talk to him right now."
It was like watching Scud missiles and those freaking Patriot missiles just intercepting them.
Yeah.
Here's a sentence, nah. But you were at the kitchen in the kitchen.
I was.
I can't remember what I was talking about, but you were sitting there holding. Oh, she had a picture. She wanted to show JC a picture of our logo, and I was talking.
The new one.
I was talking, and she went, well, and then she realized she stopped, and she's like,
I didn't say anything. I just held my phone.
she held her phone, and she was going,
Oh, JC, is that your dad?
No, JC's Joe's buddy.
Oh, okay.
like going, holding her phone, and I'm talking, and Joe and I are looking at Jen while I'm talking. I'm just laughing. I'm like, dude, just say it. Get it out. Because honestly, you look like you're going to just, like, explode.
So why were you moving furniture?
We're getting a new living room set. It was time to change things around and upgrade. We found a great, it's more of a mid-century modern design. Okay. Really cool curves to it. Like a deep teal color.
Where'd you get it from?
Rooms to go, which normally I'm not a big fan of their store. We've had some issues in the past with them, but I absolutely love the set. So we had a huge sectional. Like Kevin saw, it's just ridiculously big. Yeah. So we got that out today. Okay. And then I shampooed the carpets very well in that area. So that's what I was doing all morning until about lunchtime. So no one's allowed to really step on the carpet.
We got a big sectional, and just the prospect of selling that thing was like, honestly,
I was ready. Sell it? We did.
We sold it to my brother-in-law's brother, and it was like, if I explained to you the whole process of, you know, when they were supposed to pick it up,
it's
honestly, I was going with between me and my sister. I said, how many times have I said tell you our plans? I said, if he doesn't pick it up, I'm driving it over to his fucking place. I'm going to freaking douse it in gasoline and burn it right in front of his place.
So we got the sofa out, the sectional out. Thursday, we get our new furniture. So it's a full-size sofa. And instead of having a love seat with it, we're doing an armchair with an ottoman and an accent chair. So 2 chairs. So kind of changing, and I want to get also a mid-century like radio cabinet.
Yeah, that's what
to go underneath the large maps that we have on the wall. So I thought that would be kind of neat.
I missed that. What kind of cabinet?
Like a radio, mid-century radio cabinet, like what you would have the turntable on with the cabinet underneeth to put albums.
Kind of like what we have.
Yeah,
I don't know what you have.
We have that.
He
basically.
Yeah, it was one of the ones that you would see in like the 60s. It was a long cabinet, had the tube TV in it. And then it had, you know, like the doors that slid and covered the TV up.
Yeah.
So what I did with that was I gutted the TV, and I built drawers in there for DVD player, everything else, and then on the sides, one of them is still a record player. It's recessed in there. And then the other side, I built a cabinet that holds a bunch of records.
Nice.
And I put plexiglass tops on them and put some wire. I'll take some pictures. It came out really cool.
It really did.
Because I'd like to get a working record player and start getting albums again. And because a lot of times it's a TV console, but since our TV's mounted above the fireplace, that's a great spot for it. So this would because we'll have much more room in the living room, I think that would look nice.
But we need an old 60s or 70s cabinet. Then we do need to take the back out and replace it, because it's like a cabinet this big, and it's got like a speaker that you find in a car. You know,
okay.
Those old school ones. Like when I was growing up, my mom always had, like, now you want your radio so compact that it's easy to put here. Back in the day, your record player was a piece of furniture. It was it was as big and as heavy as a china cabinet, right?
Yeah.
So I think one of those would look cool.
Yeah. So I've been kind of looking around, just kind of redoing.
Yeah, when I was looking for a record player for that, and that's how much times have changed. Even like I think that's 5 or 6 years old now. Mm-hmm. You either had all the record players were like $1,000, and that was it. But then there was no economical ones. I found the only one online anywhere, and it was like $100. But now I search through Amazon. Everybody sells them.
Yeah, you get them. They're back.
Just such a huge demand, like everywhere.
Vintage ones, we sell them online. We sell them up to sometimes $4,000. Some of the vintage ones.
Yeah.
We got one for my daughter. That's kind of looks like an old radio. Mm-hmm. And then you open up the top and it's got the record player.
And of course, it has Bluetooth and everything else. So
a lot of the new ones.
Yeah.
That's cool though. It's definitely cool.
So that was just part of our weekend. The yard sale was a huge other part of it.
Oh, we got all sorts of stuff to get into.
We'll talk about that as well. I am not a garage sale host.
No.
Very well.
You did all right, though.
I did. It was
you did
one
better
of my
from our
ones.
very first garage sale. You were
The people were more tolerable this time
getting in
around.
arguments over 25 cents. 50 cents. I will not go another dime down.
That's when will you go 25 cents? You look at it and then you smash it on the ground. No, I won't.
Yeah, see,
then,
I'd take whatever. I don't give a shit.
I know. It's part of it. Who cares?
I would smash it on the ground. So, but we're going to get into that in a moment. But first, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Kerr.
I'm Jen.
And we are
the Broadleaf Bullies.
We talk. You listen. We are the Broadleaf Bullies. And here's your hosts, Kev, Kerr, Jessie, and Jen.
And then,
That'd be fun.
Oh my God! Yeah.
We could do something like that.
No.
There's a word for
there's
a word for that type of song, but I can't remember what it is.
I know. I was trying to that you sing in.
You don't want to do it? Fucking the hell. I'm fucking.
Yay! It's our 10th episode.
10th episode.
Yeah,
Joe, clean the garage.
Yeah, guess what? I'm off tomorrow, so guess who's cleaning this shit off my desk?
Yeah.
Is that video you said with that guy who
That
comes
was
in and
loud.
does
Oh
it?
yeah. I sent you guys that video of that cop, and he's got like a dozen of them now, and
he does it to him. Him and his wife.
His wife, he'll just sneaks in, blows
She
the
does it to
dust
him,
everywhere,
too,
and then
though.
flips it up, and then just keeps walking.
That's fun.
hilarious.
We've had this sitting on top of our humidor probably since February. I keep forgetting it's up there. So I think it was for Killian's birthday bash.
Yeah.
So I figure, how perfect would it be for our 10th episode?
10 episodes.
10 episodes.
Nice.
And only 1 week missing in between. A time off.
2.
2.
Yeah,
That's
there's
right.
2.
Yeah.
2. We got to figure out
I
how
think
long
2,
our first
and they were both my fault.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was on
I don't wanna
call
point
as
the
well.
finger. Yeah.
It happened to be you were working late and I was on call, so it
That
ended
probably
up
would have been
working
our
out
best
great.
show. It probably would have been like
Last weekend,
evil.
I worked almost 12 hours on Saturday. Sunday, I was dead to the world. Thank God I didn't get called in. I would not have been very good on the show Sunday night.
no.
I know I wouldn't have been. I worked, I don't know, almost 15 hours because I worked all day by myself. No other manager, open to close. Thought I was going to die Sunday.
Nice.
That's crazy.
What are you guys smoking tonight?
I'm smoking the Corona 20th anniversary cigar.
And then I'm smoking, which I'm hooked on lately, is the Drew Estate, the Herrera Esteli. This is the blue label. I forget.
Yeah, you got a box of them recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I got 2 boxes of them, and I already had a box of them on hand. So yeah.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah,
not bad.
I forget which one's this called. The I don't know. There's a name for it. I don't know.
I got
Blue
the
label.
Jess's favorite tonight.
Brazilian Maduro.
Brazilian Maduro. Ooh, that's
You got my favorite?
yeah. I
Which
got
one?
an Ezra Zion tonight.
Oh,
Which one
I
is it?
haven't smoked one yet.
It's good.
Is it?
Yeah, I like the flavor, but I don't get ice cream at all. But it's definitely
No.
got some flavor.
Oh,
to
is
it,
that the
pepper,
melted coffee ice cream?
Yeah, I haven't dipped into it yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
There-
no
there is
pun
a-
intended. Dipped in.
There is a subtle creaminess to it in the background. There really is, but there's lots of coffee and spice flavor up
Good.
forward
Good.
with some creaminess to the back end. And then for my backup, if we go longer, which I know I'll probably be smoking like a chimney tonight. I can't find my backup
It's right
cigar.
here.
Oh yeah, is the red tips
Oh, right on.
nice.
from the vintage. Sorry, Sam. Vintage fresh from Sam Lucia.
The packaging is just fantastic.
Oh, gorgeous!
I have
And
to
you
say
and you
I'm in
have
awe
those
of it.
and you have those on your website.
They're on the
now.
website, yeah.
They're on the website now.
VSRcigarfam.com. You can buy them. They actually have this cool little story
Oh, that's
paper.
cool.
And then I didn't realize this, but they come in a plastic jar
Yeah.
Like
of
acrylic?
16. They have a Boveda pack in it, and they have this art like wrapped around it, so it's around in the inside.
Yeah.
But when you open it up, I took it out. It actually is like this would have been the top of one of those old time boxes.
That's what you were holding it up. That's what I thought it
That's
was. Was
so
a was
It
a box
really
top.
is neat. I
Yeah,
have to say,
it's you can see the wood
fantastic.
grain in
Yep.
here. I mean, because I have a bunch of old boxes. They always taped every single corner
Yeah.
and seam.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, and the cigar itself is
Fantastic.
made at Espinosa, so it's a really nice cigar. But Sam really hit it out of the ballpark with this one. It
Now,
was,
are you're selling them as whole containers, right? Or are you breaking them up if somebody wants?
right now, I got whole containers. I may break up a container and do it's like a 3-pack.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody else yet do it. You know, a few places I've seen like the whole containers. I haven't seen anybody doing individuals yet.
Yeah,
but I'm assuming some lounges will probably,
They
have
could probably
that.
put a container
Yeah,
out and
I'll put a
sell-
container out, and you know,
And then
sell-
you pull
sell
a
'em
couple
loosey.
out. Yeah,
Lucy's
it's
like
147 for a container, so not
Okay.
bad for 16 cigars. And
no, that's actually a really good price. Yeah,
honestly, I mean, for what you're buying at 147 for 16 cigars, and just the history behind it, and when the bands themselves, I'm telling you, Kevin, you and I were talking about it. When you look at the back of it, you can get away with that.
no, you would. I mean, that's like
That-
today. That would be a budget. That not even a budget stick.
Yeah.
could get away with that today.
That'd be like, man, what kind of shit did you pull, man? Did your printer screw up on my pattern? And it's
Yeah.
like, no, that's just all those cigar bands from back in the day looked like that. And there's a place in Philly I went to a couple of years ago, and I think I told you before. It used to be an old factory, at the turn of the century, and when they were cleaning it up to make a cigar shop out of it, they found all these old cigar bands between the wood floors, and when they knocked out a wall, they were all in there, and they have them hanging up on the wall, and they all look like that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, J.C. Newman, like I said, they found piles of bands. They found piles of old molds, wood molds or cigar molds, and just the stacks of bands. I
Yeah.
mean, like hundreds of
Yeah.
stacks.
just
And
super neat.
Just because that family never threw out anything.
Yeah, it's such a cool concept, and I think Sam really did a great job with this. And the cigars are fantastic. I mean,
And even the outside of the acrylic jar, he has an old newsprint.
yeah, he
on,
wraps it in old newsprint.
on
Yeah.
tissue paper, so it's sealed over it, so it's like a gift.
Yeah.
But really,
You-
just every
you know,
detail that he has with it, and
Since you talked to Sam, you should have him reach out to J.C. Newman, since he's got this red tips thing, and like I said, they have. I bet they got hundreds of thousands of bands, like that. I mean, that would be a kind of
That'd be interesting.
a cool
Yeah.
concept, since he's already done it once, proven success that it works. Maybe doing something with J.C. Newman
Just
using
so-
some of their
It's
bands.
just
And
fun to be able to even just
Yeah.
collect some cool bands too.
Yeah.
Sam's
So-
one of those creative. I mean, he's a super nice guy, but really, he's creative and just,
yeah, definitely mention that, because like I said, I mean, it's not something that too many people know about. I mean, I just happened to be there during the construction and saw all of it, so
Nice.
that might be a cool project for
I know
him.
this guy Shevin Cahan.
Yeah, drop my name.
Drop-
Yeah. Yeah.
So anything else fun happening?
Yeah, well, I want to hear about this yard sale.
Dude.
well, we have a lot of stuff, and it was time, especially with redoing the living room, trying to update the kitchen, and then we just had to go through all our storage areas, and we have a storage unit as well with stuff in it. So it's been a weeks long process of going to the storage unit, reboxing some stuff because of the humidity, boxes collapsing from not stacking well. We just had a lot of stuff. I'm fine with just donating all of it. I really have absolutely no problem taking things that even have tags on them, because I'll just buy
gotta
things
stop
and
you
put them
here.
in my closet and not remember I have them, and just donate them.
I gotta
Because
stop
I do
you
not
here,
like yard sales.
because
Hate them.
whenever we
like going to 'em.
whenever we clean out something like a storage unit or garage, the house, and do a yard sale, I have to prepare this months in advance, because I am taking Jennifer along kicking and streaming.
That's not true.
It is.
No, it isn't. It just so happens that the Saturdays I was
So happens.
I was having a lot of back issues.
I
I was
would never-
having some health issues as well.
Well, I know.
One weekend, so that is not true.
But you're
I try
not
to
a
do
fan
what
of
I
the
can.
yard sales.
No, I'm
though.
not, and that's not because of the stuff we have. It's because of
All
the
right, it's just a
people.
coincidence. It was pushed off a couple.
It's-
of
Yeah,
weeks.
it's
Because of the
because you probably made what, $300 on a yard sale,
Kevin,
and it
Kevin
took
won't do
and-
yard
and-
sales.
and it took you a month.
No,
So
it didn't take us a month, Kevin.
And he started at 7 a.m.
Well, you said it. It's like a month-long
7
process.
It's a month off. Listen, I can fucking do this shit like that.
Then
Right?
you should.
I would. But you know what? I'm like, hey, can I get... No, because you know what? If I did all that shit like
I
that,
just
and I'm
don't
sitting
eat
there
it.
going, hey, look at all this money, I'll be like, hey, man, can I get this? And then next thing you know... But nonetheless, you've gotten better from our first yard sale.
Well, the people were. I have to say, we had some nice
We had
couples
less
come
frequency this time around.
and they bought a lot.
But we had...
and I'm like, fill a box
three
for
or
$5.
four people three or four groups that bought a lot.
Yeah.
So we had less foot traffic, but bigger purchases and
I haven't paid on a website. Yes, I'm interrupting. I paid on a garage sale
Why stop
website
now?
for us to be the featured site. So I spent $30 to advertise this.
That is.
So is that
we
all
were
you did, or
featured.
are you signed? Are you signed people?
Oh, yeah,
like,
we did
You start like
signs.
3 streets over, turn here, down here.
Yeah, you have to.
Joe is the one running out.
And guess
you know.
what? I got a couple of customers show up and buy shit because like, I was coming back from Simpsonville and I saw the sign.
You always need signs.
And I was like, yeah, of course you saw the sign, bro. That's what they're there for.
Because we're not in a major city, so the roads can be kind of sporadic. So I do feel that
Unless
you
it's
need
Joe,
signs
again, 15-year-old smart kid. Hey, Joe, put the sign over there. And he puts it like, Joe,
in the weeds.
did you put it behind a bush? What do you expect, a bunch of slugs to come?
Yeah, Joe, look at the arrow. Look which way. Is that point to our house, Joe?
Oh, we had that.
Does it point to our house?
We had that conversation because he's in a car. I go, okay, I need to put the sign there. He goes, which way do I point the arrow? I go, Joe, if the arrow points this way, you're going to send him into a freaking field. You point the arrow this way. Which way's our neighborhood, Joe? And
Because we bought them on Amazon, so there were arrows on both sides. They weren't like the cheap ones that it's only on one side or you have to draw the arrow. We had high quality signs this year too.
So I said to Joe, this is going to happen frequently. And the couch is gone now, so I have nowhere to sleep except for the dog bed. So I said, Joe, which way is the neighborhood? And he goes, that way? I go, are you telling me or are you asking me? He goes, no, it's that way. I go, then that's the way the arrow points, buddy. And he goes,
Yeah.
and he's flipping a sign back and forth. And I'm like, yo, freaking, hello, McFly.
Oh my god.
So we put out the signs. We actually had some super nice people show up.
Yeah.
Some great people, like really nice, interactive.
They're coming over for dinner next week.
Coming over for dinner. But you know what? This is the first time this has ever happened to me. We got a shopper that was a shoplifter.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Really?
I didn't care.
And I was like,
Freaking
I was
throw
like,
whatever you want in it.
if this stupid son of a working, she no, I don't care. Take more. Put more in that fucking bag. I see what you're doing. I mean, she comes.
Seriously, somebody was actually
Swear to
doing
God.
that?
She
Yeah.
came over. She was. She showed up
We'll
with.
tell them with what bags we had out there, all those cooler
I'm
bags.
getting there. I'm getting there.
He's so grouchy
He
tonight.
is.
I'm not grouchy. I am just at my fucking limit of constant interruptus. I'm fucking over it. So I said, I cannot wait to see this freaking trailer. It's gonna be all me cursing. Angry Carrie. There's a clip for you, Kevin. Oh, you son of a bitch! You. I know what you. I can see right now. Just writing down at 8 minutes 43 second mark. Carrie just freaking act like an asshole.
Anyway, our shoplifter in the bags.
So this young girl shows up with this older guy, and I'm talking to him, and she's like on the phone. She's like, "You didn't sell bags here, and look at these bags." And we had all these like bags of like Costco cooler, all the different cloth bags that you can get,
okay.
because we want to recycle, be healthy, so I'm reselling, right?
Yeah.
And then there's one that was this bag that it was embroidered Jen on it. And she's like, oh, my friend Jen, I'm going to get this for her. So she loads up like 3 bags. She goes, how much for these bags? I was like, $2 each. Just go ahead. So she's like, okay. And she's talking. She's like, yeah. And she's putting shit in the bag. And then she comes over. She's talking. And she opens her arm up like that. And one bag opens up. And there's like a bunch of shit in it. And then she quickly closes her arm. And I was just like, Oh, yeah, it'll be $6 for all that.
Unbelievable.
I never, ever, 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 ever saw a shoplifter at a yard sale before.
Me neither.
Wow.
And
Oh, you should have had a camera. Damn it. You should have set that up. Yeah.
I laughed my ass off at that. That was hilarious. And then
She should have taken more.
a truckload of guys come pouring out.
They were funny.
They were
Did not
hilarious.
speak English at all.
A couple of them couldn't speak English. The one guy could, but they were freaking hilarious and great guys. And he's sitting there looking at me. He goes, "How much for this?" I go, "Oh, that purse." I go, "Jennifer," I go, "That purse looked good on you." I said, "What size shoe you wear?" So then he's like holding the purse up and he's looking at his buddies and he's like talking to them.
He had his girlfriend, wife,
His girlfriend was on the phone,
and...
so he like grabbed all Jennifer's shit. And his other buddies, like, he puts all this crystal together. He goes, "How much for all this?" I go, $5. He goes, "Okay." And he keeps grabbing stuff and adding to it, like looking at me as he's adding it. And I go, "Bro, you keep adding more, the price is going up." And he starts laughing. They laughed. I mean, they probably bought about $80 worth of shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
But they were great. We had a couple show up.
That late truck with the 3 Spanish guys, and one of them, we had a box of costumes and cosplay from the kids. He put on a giant green Crayola crayon costume that we had. I ended up throwing it in their bag for free.
Yeah, after you wore it, I would have too. Freaking you wear it, you bought it.
Yeah. That's the rule. You wear it, you bought it.
But we had
the rules.
Real nice couple show up, and they like got all of our Easter stuff and all of our party shit. And I was just like, they're like, "How much more for this?" I'm like, just stick.
We had animal stuff.
I was like, "Oh, you bought all the party stuff. Don't forget this stuff here," you know.
And at the end, this old guy came up, and he was so sweet. And he's like, I said, "Can I help you?" And he's like, "I don't think you'll have it, but you know what I'm looking for to kind of water my plants." So I walk into our garage and I grab my watering can and I bring it out. I said, "Is this what you're looking for?" And he goes, "Yes." So I sold him my watering can.
And it was funny.
Who the hell asked you? Hey, you know what I need? You know, like this isn't Walmart.
This is a yard
I
sale.
always do that.
What aisle are the watering cans on, ma'am?
For a quarter.
Around the corner. But what's
I
funny
charged him a
is,
quarter.
what's funny is she goes, "That's 25 cents." So he digs in his pocket, and he's an older guy, and he like throws the change in Jennifer's hand, and it's 27 cents.
So I gave him.
And then
said, "Here."
She gives him 27 cents, and then he puts his hand back out for the other 2
I
pennies.
said, "Here's my 2 cents back," and I put it in his hand, and he started laughing.
But
He just didn't let you keep the 2 cents.
No, I was fine with it.
No, and then he bought something else for 50 cents, and then
Yeah.
I was like,
So
"It's
he
a beautiful day." He goes, "Be better too if I get some fishing in." I was like, "Yeah."
Now Jen's
was
got to
a
go out and
long
spend
day.
$10 on a new watering can.
I use the hose. I don't use it anymore.
Oh, okay.
But it was a long day. Up at 5, we started at 7, and it went till 2.
She rips at me because I'm used to doing, when we did yard sales up north,
Horrible.
it starts early. Like,
Yeah.
So I'm like, 7 o'clock. She's like, 9. I go, 9?
I said
No,
8.
no. They're all
people-
shopped out.
No,
they're all shopped out.
Those people, they're on the road. They're
So-
looking.
So at 7 o'clock, we started. We were there till 2. And then we had a tree left over, our Starbucks Christmas tree.
I'm getting a new one, not
Right.
the ornaments. I packed those.
So it looked hard. So we had the tree left. I had 3/4 of a freaking piece of carpet shit remnant from freaking Ollie's Good Stuff Cheap.
Yeah.
We had a chair, a really nice chair.
Our old arm.
And then
our
what was
old
that?
chair.
2 old like 70 style folding chairs. And there's something else.
The globe. That was
I had a busted up globe that Kevin always used to make fun of me that sit in the background here, right? So we put that out by the garbage, and I hear the dog rustle. It's a guy out there loading
Taking
it
it.
up.
Yep.
Took everything but the chair.
What?
But then we went out to dinner for our niece's birthday, and when we came back, the chair was
Chair was
gone.
gone.
We have a neighbor. Well, I said he actually had to go into a retirement home now, like dementia. But twice a year he would have a huge garage sale. But all year long he went to garage sales. He retired from up north, a used car salesman, big house right on the water.
He was a reseller.
So he hit garage sales every weekend. And then they twice a year have these 2 mega garage
His
sales.
girlfriend still does it. She was doing it the other day.
Oh, was
I
she?
saw it.
So he'd have them on a like Saturday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and then on Monday everybody knew like he would leave the 2 tables out in his driveway.
Take it.
Everything that's on the tables Monday morning was free.
Yeah.
So whatever he didn't sell, he wiped
Yeah.
the slate clean, and then he started over again.
My mom, God rest her soul, and her husband, he was retired military, and then she didn't. She was retired. So what they would do is they would go to different auctions. And we see it all the time.
Yeah.
People go to auctions, they go to different yard sales, they buy shit, and then they have their own sale and they resell.
Yeah.
Or do you have bin time?
Yeah, bin time. You see people out there all the time. It's all the stuff, all the leftover shit from Amazon that was never delivered or returned.
Oh,
or whatever.
we get that all the time.
And that's you can go there and get everything's $5.
Yep.
How much do you get?
Whatever. Like if you walk in there, you should see the line on Saturday when it opens up.
Amazon has a link
you can
to do
get
that.
crazy stuff for $5. I actually got a headset that I use for work. That's perfect. It's awesome. I got it for $5. I got.
So you know what you're getting. Okay.
Sometimes.
There is a table you can open it. You can have them open it.
Okay, because on Amazon, I've seen some of those. Like those sites where you get to choose the size of a box. And then you can get a pallet if you want.
And you don't even know what it is.
And you don't know what it is.
Yeah, this is kind of like that, but there's stuff that you can see and know and get, but we got a box and we got in line and had them open it up, and it was like French onion soup crocs.
The little crock containers.
Okay. Oh,
but it was like $5 for like 6 of them or 4 of them.
Yeah.
I got a couple of wireless keyboards, wireless mouse. I got a couple of headsets. Like I said, the one I use for work, and it's something that if I ever went, I do from the shut on the road, and I can't use this, I always bring it as a backup because it's perfect.
And then COVID hit and completely got skeeved out with how many people are in there.
Yeah, it's freaking.
So
it's like watching ants fighting over a French fry.
The line, because Saturday is day one. Where everything's $5. So the line will start, 6 o'clock in the morning, and it opens at 10. And people
it wraps
wait
around the building.
And then Sunday, same thing. Monday, the price goes down, I think, to either 4 or 3, and then Tuesday, everything's $1.
Yeah.
And then they're closed until they restock on Saturday.
Oh wow!
Now they have those too. You ever been to the for the airlines for the luggage?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, you get to buy and you bid on suitcases, and then you don't get to open them.
That's creepy.
They're just. I mean, I've seen them in like a warehouse, and sometimes they'll pack 2 or 3 suitcases or one large one,
I would
and
not do that.
You bid on them, and then it's
all you're getting is someone's clothing.
It's roll the dice whether you get jewelry or a camera
or a bag of cocaine.
Or a
bag of cocaine.
Or a bag of dildos.
Yeah.
Used dildos and bad.
Those only go to Goodwill.
Usually, that's when people donate their suitcases to us. Usually, there's dildos inside of it.
So once our yard sale was done, we actually got rid of probably more than half. We loaded up our SUV and brought it to Goodwill.
Yep, dropped it off at Goodwill, and then we have some other things here. We made enough money on it from the couch and everything, so we're gonna get some gym equipment.
Yeah, Joe wants a better home gym.
Yeah, we're gonna get some gym equipment. So
nice, good.
You figure, $500 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, get himself a little Bowflex, and then
No, those Bowflexes are super obnoxious. I hate when people donate those to us. We refuse most exercise equipment unless it's a bike.
Right.
Or like an elliptical or something. Other than that, we won't take them because
Chuck Norris Total Gym.
Half the time, the stuff is not put back together properly because they have to take part of it apart. It doesn't come with a manual. I'm not putting it together.
Yeah.
They are. Those Bowflexes are.
My brother-in-law had a Bowflex.
Sorry.
And he's like, "Here, help me." And I was like, "Dude, there's pulleys, there's rope, there's big springs. I don't know where any of this shit goes, man. Just
it's terrible.
Make it simple for me. This is all resistant." I'm like, I don't. It looks like a freaking. It looks like it should be on the back of like an enemy in a Spider-Man movie.
I know it does.
I don't get it.
But how was your week? It was a big week in your household.
Yes.
Birthday.
It was like a holiday.
It was my birthday. Yeah, Kevin did good.
He did great.
He did real good.
Congratulations,
Very impressed, Kevin.
Thank you.
You caved to the birthday week.
I did.
Well, he screwed up. In all fairness, he started off really strong in our relationship, and that was his mistake because it was expected all the time after
her first birthday we were together was also a birthday week, where I got her all of the favorite things.
Well, that wasn't my first birthday.
Her
You got me
second-
my 23andMe DNA testing.
Yeah. Oh, then
that
the-
was for my first
and then
birthday,
the second
and we
one-
went to North Carolina.
Yeah. Then we did birthday week.
23andMe is coming out of the gate strong.
I don't want that.
No.
I got
it.
it. We know what my dad
because
was-
said.
I
it was-
wanted to know. I wanted to do a DNA
And it was a
test.
trip to North Carolina.
And
so.
we went to North Carolina
Oh,
and stuff.
okay.
But,
Yeah.
but the 23andMe was really important to me. I really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And he
Oh,
remembered
that's right.
that. So it was really nice.
Yeah, so then we, spent a week in the cabin up in North Carolina.
Because honestly, I could care less about getting like something super uber expensive. It's like the little things, like him doing all of that stuff for things that I love,
The
It
memorable
didn't have to
stuff.
be like something grand. It just was, the gesture was really nice.
So,
Yeah.
and then we ended it with your books.
My
the
books.
complete
Oh my
set.
God. I was like, what? I was like, this is not real. And he's like, yes. And I was like,
Did you cry
That-
at all during the week?
I did not cry because I had to work the whole week in order to have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. But I had to work my grand opening for a new store on Thursday. I had closed the whole week, worked a double on Sunday, and then had to do a grand opening. And I was like, so those presents just kept me in a good even keel because he
Nice.
gave them
That's
to
good.
me in the morning. And then come
Smart
Friday,
man.
come Friday, it was just nice. We just stayed low key. And then we went to my mom's for dinner, and that actually was fine, surprisingly. Normally, when we try to do anything with my family, it gets a little intense and crazy. Everybody was on their best behavior, and I was
Yeah.
like, good, because
Good.
I was didn't really want to do it. And my mom kept saying, don't you want me to make you something? And I was like, I guess if you really want to. Like, I don't really care.
Now, how old
Um,
are you?
43.
43.
43. I know. And then
I
Graham
remember 43.
sent me a really nice surprise, but we weren't here to receive it. So apparently then you have to pick it up,
The edible arrangement.
the edible arrangement.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so he ordered it, I guess, days ago, like the beginning of the week, set it up to be delivered on my birthday. We didn't leave here until 6:15, 6:30 or something. They didn't show up until like almost 8 o'clock.
At night?
So they call. Yes,
Yeah.
they call. He gave them my
Wow.
number to call. And he goes, hey, I'm here to deliver something, but no one's home. Yeah, we're not home. Like,
Because it's 8
I
o'clock at
can't
night.
believe it's that
Yeah.
they would deliver that
they
late.
have the right to deliver it till 9, apparently.
What?
But they don't
Crazy.
disclose that on their website because he didn't do it as a phone call. He did it off
Right.
their website. So I said to the guy, can you try my neighbor? Of course, my neighbor is asleep or not there or whatever. So I said, I guess you have to leave it outside. He goes, oh, you can just pick it up from the location, tomorrow. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to be out and about, so I'll just get it. I'm going to go get my nails done with my friend Shani, so, like, fine, whatever. So the girl, some teenage girl calls me from there at, like, noontime. It was like, are you coming to pick this up? Well, first off, it was supposed to be a surprise. Fucking surprise totally ruined, and she was a little asshole about it. And so I was like, ooh, that's it. I'm sick of my friend Shani on her. She can be a real bitch to people sometimes. So, like, we go in there, and she's like, you realize, like, this was a present. Like, this is from her son who's in the military. Like, what? Like, why don't you disclose this better and stuff? Like, and the poor girl, it's not her fault. She don't know. Like, she's just, like, a teenage girl working there. But it was still nice. It was really sweet, and the card was really sweet. But it was like, who the hell's delivering shit at 8 o'clock at night?
That's crazy.
At
I
least
thought that
stuff
was a
that's
little-
perishable like
Yeah.
that needs
Well,
to
and,
be.
Yeah.
and the fact that he got he overdid it. Like, it was overboard. But he was expecting, like, it to be there, and then I would probably, like, bring it to my parents.
Right.
Mhm.
So, no, none of that happened. But whatever. It was a really nice
So it was a
gesture.
good birthday. Good
It
gifts.
was.
Kevin did a
And-
nice job.
Yeah, and then I got to have lunch with my friend, and we
Yeah.
got her pedicures and manicures done, and it was really nice.
Good.
It's a
You
good
deserve
day.
it.
Very nice.
Yeah, and then today I cleaned the bathroom.
Back to real life.
I did laundry.
Back to
Yeah,
real life.
back to real life.
That's because the birthday week ends when you're 43.
Well,
And
on
then-
my birthday, I cleaned the kitchen.
Well, you did get 2 more gifts yesterday.
Oh, I did.
Because I had some come late.
Yeah,
so-
my mom got me a whole bunch of wine, which was awesome. So
Joe and I cleaned the kitchen.
Yes, you did. Did a great job too.
I actually
on
also
Saturday,
my
last Saturday.
management team got me a 1 hour massage.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I don't know when I'm gonna have time to do that. Hopefully, some point. So
Jennifer
good
loves
stuff.
massages.
I haven't had one in a really long time. I haven't had my nails done in like I don't know 6 months. So
Would you get your nails
this was
done?
nuts.
I would, but the problem is at work you're really not supposed to because of you're supposed to not even wear nail polish because of bacteria and
Gotcha.
with your hand washing and everything. But manicures I would be okay with. Pedicures I refuse.
No, I know that. Trust me. I made the mistake with getting you a massage.
Massage
You
is
refuse a
absolutely not. I don't want anyone
pedicures?
touching my feet. I hate
Jessica.
feet.
I bought her a massage for her birthday years ago, and she came back more stressed.
I hated it. It's the facial was nice. I like that. But other than that, no, thank you.
It was like watching. It was like watching George Costanza on that episode where the man's massaging him. He's just like,
she doesn't like her face touch.
I'm better at it. I don't like my face being touched at all.
You're
Okay,
using
that's
up one of your get out of free doghouse cards.
No, I seriously hate. Like I always do when I get massages. They're like, "Oh, where's the off limits zone?" I said, "My face. You touch my face, you're getting punched in the face." For whatever reason, I don't know if something happened to me as a kid. People who even just like try to go like that, I'm like I will hit you. I do not like my face being touched.
Maybe because of what happened that you had to have plastic surgery on your eye. Maybe because
when I was a kid.
Well, there it is. That's your face.
We just said maybe something happened to you when you were a kid.
Oh yeah, no, I said that's what I mean. I get that, but I don't know. I just don't like it. So it's you know.
Her brother spent her whole childhood. I'm not touching you. I'm not.
I don't know what it is, and I don't like feeling claustrophobic either. And I think that's part of it. It's like that right there is giving somebody. I don't know, like when they're like putting hot shit on your face. No, I don't like it. I've never had a facial.
I don't mind that.
Fantastic.
I don't want people touching my face.
Scalp massage, I'm fine with.
Now the scalp massage.
Don't touch my back.
See, my whole back, my feet, all that stuff.
No,
good.
I'll kick you if you touch my feet.
I actually had a Thai massage. That
I don't know what that
intense.
is.
Basically they
sounds painful.
They basically get on top and use parts of like their arms and sometimes like their legs to do pressure points and stuff.
Deep tissue massage.
Yeah, these dudes down the road they got busted for prostitution.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that kind of place, and it was a guy.
They're using the boobs.
He was a white dude. It wasn't anything like that, and it was awesome. Yeah, they do. It's like deep tissue massage, but they have like other techniques that they use and stuff. Freaking one of the best
I used to get them
massages.
a long time, but I want to call up and I was like, hey, I don't know how to put this. No dudes. I don't want a dude touching me.
Why? Who
And
cares?
that was just the off limit.
It's just a massage.
No dudes.
No, I'm the same way.
I don't want a guy massaging me. When I switched dentist and I said, you don't have any guy dental hygienist, do you?
A dentist massage.
No, I get massaged when I switch. Yeah.
You're really weird about your gums being massaged.
Yeah. I don't want guys massaging me. I don't want a guy dental hygienist. I don't want guys touching me.
That's just dumb.
Because guys are dirty people.
What?
You know.
I've almost always had male doctors.
Yeah, I finally for the first time in my life have a male doctor.
Why is that different? As a woman, I don't.
Because I've watched one too many.
Male doctor looking at my vagina.
I've watched one too many porno movies where a massage turns into something more, and I don't want it to happen if a guy's doing it.
That's not the case. Ridiculous.
No, I don't know what it is because I mean I've never had a guy massage me either. I don't know how to respond. I probably not well, but when I was in Pittsburgh, my back went out. I had one of those deep tissue massages where it was this like little tiny petite girl, but she was in the army and she had tattoos all over her arms. Like you could tell she was very like strapping little petite girl, but she was using her forearms and like really dig it in. Yep. And I was like, good Lord Almighty, I don't care how strong of a man there is. There's no one who's gonna be able to do that.
You even did the water tank down in Charleston.
If you ever get a chance to do the water tank, it's called what is that?
I don't know.
It's hydro. it's hydro something, isn't
like
it?
salt water, and it's completely
like
dark.
pressure.
And
No, it's basically they put you in sensory deprivation is what it's basically.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
they use it for autism and stuff too. They do therapy. It's like an aquatic therapy, but it's in those chambers.
It's in
like
those chambers, and basically they said an hour in that chamber is equivalent to 8 hours of restorative sleep. And they put salt in there where there's more salt content in the water than there is in the Mediterranean Ocean.
Oh, okay.
So the more water, the more buoyancy.
Yeah.
So when you get in there, you float. Like they give you like little floaties if you want to put your head on it, but you're floating in this tank. There's no sound. Everything's dark. And I floated in this tank, and probably like the first 10 minutes I freaked out, and then like the next 30 minutes was awesome. Like I was half sleeping, half awake, and I mean it was just so restful. And then I started freaking out the last 10 minutes, and I just got out, and then I got a massage, but it was really relaxing.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
I can't do the I can't do the no sound. That I gotta have like the I'm always thinking, and my wheels are all like the hamster wheel is turning, and
what are you talking about? You would just go to sleep.
when so there's no sound, that hamster wheel that's going is deafening.
He'd go to sleep.
Kevin,
That's what he.
I'm the same
I'd
way.
be
I'm always
asleep,
thinking too, and I got to tell you something. When you're in floating around, and there's times like when you really kind of get into the whole relaxation, and the hamster stops running, and you're floating, you'll bump into the side of the tank, and it'll kind of like you feel like the best way I could describe it is I felt like a leaf floating on the water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. How enclosed are you though? Do you feel suffocated at all?
No, I don't, because it was actually a pretty decent sized tank that they put.
Oh,
in.
okay.
I mean,
And there's not a lid on the tank,
Yes,
is
there
there?
is.
No,
Was
no.
there?
This one was kind of a tank where they had a side door, and then you got in, and then they closed the side door. There are some that have
like a
the
pod.
lids like a pod, but
Okay.
it was almost like an oversized jacuzzi size, thing. Or
my heart's beating. Just the thought of climbing into something and it closing.
What I'd like to do is, and I've told you about it, is here in Florida, NASA has that the quiet chamber. It's the world's quietest room, and they test whatever electronics that are going to the moon or Mars to make sure they're not giving off anything else. But they've had people in this room, and I forget what the world record is. It's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is, because it's so quiet in the room. They say you can hear the blood cycling through your body. They say your heartbeat is deafening, and that's what'll drive people mad, is hearing the sound of their heart pumping. And, and I forget what it's like. Some weird, like, nobody's allowed in there, and it's
for
like,
good reason.
Yeah, I mean, I would just like to
crazy.
be in the world's quietest room.
Well, just think about those people who were in like padded cells. Like it had to have some similar effect. Like no sound. You only have your thoughts, and I'm sure you could start hearing your own breathe. Like
that's what they say.
Hyper aware of everything.
I could hear my own breathing, which was really odd.
Yeah, I couldn't do
at
it
first, and then
I'm like, am I breathing right?
well, the first 10 minutes, I'm telling you, those first 10 minutes, it was just like the oddest feeling, especially when you're like, my eyes are open, my eyes are closed. It's just black no matter what, like complete pitch black.
Oh, okay. So I didn't realize. So there's no light.
It's all sensory deprivation. There's no light, no sound, and you're floating in a pool.
I think what they do for people with children with autism is a little different. It's more of like the pressure from the water, so it kind of squeezes them. It's kind of like the weighted blankets and all that stuff, but there's like this water therapy that they use that's supposed to be really effective and stuff. So I don't know. I wouldn't like it. I don't think
I would either.
I don't like being rolled up tight. I even hate blankets half the time. I'm kicking them off. I'm like, ugh.
I like the sound of a ceiling fan.
I don't like feeling restrictive, like restricted at all.
There's nothing.
No.
The only thing you hear is your breathing and your own voice in your head going. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, I know, a mile a minute. All those thoughts, all the little Kevins that are inside there screaming. I don't know how you can say that when you can just put yourself to sleep. Yeah.
So I can't do that. It would be worse for me because I can't shut off. I don't know how to.
Yeah, that's why when I go to sleep, we have TV or music on. Something has to calm my brain from taking over.
You know what you would need to do, Kevin, is get in one of those tanks, but then have like a recorder. So as you're floating there and your brain's going a mile a minute, I'm sure you'd get like 1,000 new ideas that you would have to be like, record this.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I do at work a lot of times. You know, that's why, you know, when I was, you know, I had 4 months off after my car accident. I felt, and I think I mentioned that to you before, I felt stagnated because when you're here at the house and you're, you know, just, you're always thinking and then you can't solve a problem. But when I'm at work and, you know, you're in depth trying to fix a problem on a car or get to a part, changing a part, and that's when, like, in the back of my brain, that's when my brain is happiest, because then all of a sudden, like, whatever problem I was having, instant, and I go down and I'm like,
you're
that's
truly
what I.
Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
But I've done that before. I've been at work on my computer, like, Lord knows the 5 million things I have to do, and then I'll remember something. I'll slide over here real quick and I'll write it down about something with cigars. But yeah, it's, I gotta tell you, it's the oddest thing. But it was very relaxing because I mean my back was really in bad shape too.
You were having spasms. And
it was bad. And then they gave me a massage afterwards, and I was probably about 60% better. But I had called my manager the night before, and I said I'm working in Charleston. My back went out, and I'm in bad shape. And he's like, "All right." And this guy was an all right guy, but he was a little bit of a dick. And he's like, "Well, you know, I'm in Charleston, you know, interviewing such and such." I'm like, "Oh, where you stand?" And I go, "I'm in the same hotel." So I said, "I'll come down in the morning and meet you." And I came down in the morning, and when he saw me, he goes, "Are you," like, I was sweating. That's how much pain I was in. I was white and I was sweating and I was all hunched over. And he's like, "Dude, do not go to work. Like, you look horrible." And I said, I was not joking around about how bad my back is right now. I could not even get above this without spasms just jerking me and pulling me back into that hunched over position.
I will tell you, after having that, like, the deep muscle massage and stuff, I don't think my back has ever felt better. You know, it's only when I have those, like, deep massages that my back feels the best.
The chiropractor keeps my back.
I can't go to a chiropractor.
Yeah,
I'm terrified.
I used to love them, but
I'm terrified.
I think they really made my back worse before I ended up having back surgery. I think, unfortunately, they misdiagnosed my herniation and thinking going to a chiropractor will alleviate the pain and issues I was having. I think it actually, unfortunately, made it worse and progressed the
you got worse
and everything.
You always hear mixed things. You know, you have people who are on like massage, you know, or chiropractor. For me, I'm all about the massage. I don't feel comfortable going to a chiropractor, and that's my own personal stuff.
I believe in what they do, and I was actually a chiropractic assistant in high school, and keep your spine aligned and the pressure and everything.
I agree with that. I'm terrified though, but I know with certain massage and stuff, they can a little bit do some of their own kind of adjustments, or your back kind of adjusts on its own because you relax. My biggest thing is knowing someone's going to like crack me. Forget it. I'm already tense thinking about it.
Yeah,
there's no way they're doing
my
it.
chiropractor knows, you know, and like said
I'm not doing
and
it.
then you know, and then he'll just be asking me a question. I'm like, "Oh," and he's like, "Wham," and I'm like, "Ah."
Yeah,
you know, so
see, I don't like that.
But when I threw my back out, I don't know, 15 years ago, when I had an MRI done, so the back surgeon says, "Hey, you know, you're too young. This isn't really a big deal. You know, go to a chiropractor." So I brought the MRIs to my chiropractor. We set up a plan, so he knew what was wrong, what he had to treat, and then, you know, we did years of that, and then it made it so now it's just an occasional every 6 months. You know, for my back. And now I go every week for my neck. So he'll adjust my neck and my shoulders. Since the car accident, I got to go every week. But for my back, it's like once every 6 months just for an adjustment. And he's kind of taught me how to relax. And then I can, you know, from like a squatting position, I can relax and I can actually adjust my own lower back now. And it's funny because I'll hold it and then I hear that pop, pop, pop.
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
I don't like anybody messing with my neck, though. The neck part is like, I've heard too many horror stories of broken necks and stuff. Like, I just don't do that.
What would happen if a chiropractor hurt somebody?
Well, they'd be in trouble. I mean,
yeah,
there's been chiropractors that have broken necks adjusting.
Yeah. So what we do is every week before he puts me in a neck traction device, which like separate, and then it like pulls the neck and stretches for about 10 minutes, and then he'll come in and then he does his adjustments. But same thing, he saw my MRI, he got the results from the neurosurgeon, and so he had a game plan, so he knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Without going in blind. So, but yeah, I mean, if you went in blind and a chiropractor just didn't know really what was going on, I imagine you could probably do some damage to somebody.
It was a little. In the chiropractor I went to 6 months before my surgery, he was one of the better ones in Greenville, probably one of the best because he worked with one of the sports teams. Did X-rays and everything, and it just, I don't know. Because I've had gone to them before. They've helped my dad when he would go to them. I believe they have a part in medicine with what they do.
Well, I used to go.
Oh, absolutely.
I used to go when I was back in Harrisburg. I had really good friends and with a lot of doctors, and one of them I used to go to was an osteopathic doctor.
What is that?
You have doctors that are MDs,
yeah,
and then you have doctors that are DOs, and both go to medical school. They both do the same thing, but osteopathic doctors will go and take extra classes on osteopathic manipulation and how it's good for the body, for the homeostasis of the body. So it's very similar to what chiropractors do, but some of these guys and women, it's pretty amazing. Like there was an osteopathic doctor that could adjust your skull for migraines.
What?
Because you have floating plates in your skull. It's not one big plate. So they could actually feel if your freaking skull was out of line and adjust your skull. The guy I used to go to always used to do my back adjustments, and it was perfect. Very similar to the stuff that I went to with when I went to the chiropractor. There's a couple of extra things they did at the chiropractor. Put you on the machine, and doing all that stuff. But it incorporates not only aligning your spine, but then also settling down and massaging and breaking up, all the crap that's in your muscles. Because if you have a bulging disc or you have any type of issue, it'll hit a nerve, which then will cause that muscle to spasm. So that's what the problem is. So, you have like after my back, if my back goes out with spasms, after, the situation is like calm, my muscles are still so damn sore because they've been spasming for a period of time.
Oh, yeah.
So,
feels like somebody beat you up.
Right. Yeah. So they take all that in consideration. And that's why I do like osteopathic doctors. The only thing I don't like, and I've had people do this before, and I've had a friend of mine, he and his wife didn't believe in doctors, so they would take their kid to a
holistic doctor.
Well, they were chiropractors, but these are the same doctors. Like, oh, what? Your son's got an ear infection? I got to adjust his back.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
they don't believe in vaccinations.
No, there's bacteria, overgrowth of bacteria in there. But the problem is he's not breathing right. Nope, it's not we got to adjust his back. We got to adjust this. We got to adjust that.
That's a little odd.
Oh, it's like freaking.
So let me ask a question about acupuncture. Do you think that helps people?
Oh, I definitely think it does.
My dad always had a bad back, and he was on a cruise several years ago, and his back went out, and he was in bad shape. And it was like me, same thing. And he said, I went to acupuncture on the cruise, and I went to 2 sessions. He's like, never had a back problem since. Goes, I actually visited one acupuncturist when I started getting some issues in the Harrisburg area. He's had like 3 or 4 sessions probably over the last 10 years. Never had a back problem since.
What about, do you believe in Reiki?
Reggae? I like reggae.
Reiki.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, is
where
that
they
stone
take
therapy?
Where they take the energy from them and take away your bad energy.
I don't even need
to
hear the rest of it.
No.
You've never heard of it?
Actually,
look it up when you get a chance.
I have heard of it. I couldn't remember the name. I believe that there are people out there and I believe the
Aliens.
aliens.
The Atlanteans.
No, there's it's you know how vampires live off of the blood of people, right? They call them vampires. They live off your energy.
They like siphon you.
They siphon your energy, and they actually get gratification off of either causing you anxiety or pain, and they actually siphon that energy from you.
Right.
I believe 100% in that. I know people that are like that, but I don't believe that someone could give me their good energy.
Well, here's the thing. This is 2 examples, okay? So when I was in North Carolina, I had clients, and my one client's mom had already exhausted all of Western medicine for her daughter. I mean, she was on some heavy-duty medication, and it just wasn't doing it. And she decided to start looking into alternative medicine. Mind you, her daughter had cerebral palsy, severely autistic, and I'm pretty sure there was just some like brain damage there, okay? So she started putting her on herbs and taking her to the acupuncture. And I actually did start to see a difference in her behavior from the acupuncture, but she would have me take her to this Reiki thing. And all this lady would do is lay her on a table. Mind you, Sarah didn't like to be touched. This woman wouldn't be actually like touching her, but would just get really close to her skin and go down her body, right? And I would just stand and be like, pay me to do that. I'll do that to Sarah all day. You're going to pay this lady like all this money to just brush down her arm? I never saw a difference in her ever from the Reiki. And the acupuncture I also thought maybe wouldn't work, only because I think it's also a mindset. You kind of have to believe in the Chinese like medicine, how they believe like everything starts from your tongue and it goes down that way. They could tell a lot by the color of your tongue, and there's a whole
the feet.
I thought it was the feet as well.
It starts with your tongue.
Sometimes you ever see the diagram of the feet? It's like if you rub this part of your foot, it helps your liver.
Those are pressure points. But for the way Chinese medicine works, like as far as acupuncture, everything revolves around the tongue. Okay, like for whatever reason, I could probably go into it because I did it for 4 years with her, but it's a whole long spiel. And you kind of have to buy into it, I think, a little bit mentally. You got to believe what's the treatment you're getting. She couldn't intellectually do that, but I did see where she was not in as much pain from her cerebral palsy, and she was walking a lot better. And she had a control problem with her mouth, so she would drool. That kind of stopped. So it was really cool to see that. But that Reiki stuff, I was like, no.
Well, with acupuncture, because it's hitting certain nerves, I can understand that. It relaxes muscles.
And releasing chemicals.
So my brother...
I do agree with that.
My brother had some hip issues for years from wrestling. Did chiropractor, did all that stuff. A girlfriend of his aunt did the Reiki. He went to her, swore by it, said he had no more hip problems. Didn't do acupuncture, did the Reiki, swore by it. Yeah. And I don't know if it was a mental thing, though. Yeah. That's my whole thing is, what are your muscle, your brain is a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
I think if you could believe something enough, it could possibly take pain away, or you somehow channel it in a different way.
It's a placebo effect. I mean, and you have that.
The only thing that...
I don't want to say Reiki isn't a thing for people. I've just witnessed it twice, so I don't
feel wrong.
No, you're still interrupting. It's okay.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's something that is useful to people or not. It's just an interesting topic because I do agree with Kerr. There are, I think, people who feed off of stuff.
Well, they do. That's different from that. Those are legit sociopaths. They literally get a thrill from it, and the more they drain energy from someone, I think it but you see, it's just like vampires is it doesn't fulfill them because they have that hole in them, so they have to go on to the next person and the next person and the next person, and they have to cause that drama.
So do you not think though that someone who has like a spiritual thing about them is giving a spiritual, like, good.
I think emotionally I do, but I don't think they're going to make my hip or my back feel better.
But does that help with your psyche?
I think so. It can.
Yeah,
that's what I think the point of it is.
So here's a story. This is probably going back 20 years now. I used to give blood all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I was in there every 6 weeks, constantly, and probably 50% of the time, I would get declined because I had low iron. They do the little blood thing, floats in there, and then so I'd have to wait, come back a couple days later, and try it again. But I'd always come back. So one day I'm at work, and this was back at a Quick Lube in Sarasota, and I had a customer, and she was like this little witch doctor of a lady. She was just strange. Helped her out with her car, and we got talking for a few minutes. Getting to the end of the day, I'm like, oh, told her I'm going down to give blood today, but I'm probably going to get declined as usual because I have low iron count. But I'll go back in a couple days. So she goes, well, give me your hand. So she took my hand in her two hands, and then just stared at me for like 30 seconds, and that was it. And then she's like, and she told me, she goes, you'll never have that problem again. Never in my.
Why didn't you just eat a hamburger or eat something with iron in it, like prior?
Now that it's never you've never had low iron
since that day.
Okay,
I've never been.
Do you eat hamburgers or something before you go to give blood?
No, I
never increased your iron in your food.
I never do, and I always had took supplements. I never but it was just something with my iron. But since that day, I have never been declined to give blood because of low iron.
I just have one question for you, Kevin. You said I'm serious. She said she stared at you for 30 seconds. That was it.
Yeah, and she held my hand. She held my hand in hers, and then just like stared at me for like 30 seconds.
Imagine,
at the end of that 30 seconds, did she say, "Eat a Whopper before you go"?
No.
All right.
So that was my only experience with the witch doctor.
But that's what I'm saying. Like for me, like not witch doctor.
My only experience with a witch doctor.
But at the end of the day, like I've been around a lot of holistic stuff. My grandmother was a nurse, but she also did a lot of holistic things for us when we were kids. Western medicine is great, and I think for some people, if they can find relief in other ways, then good for them. But I don't think
the macrobiotic diets. There is a lot that can help.
But I think you have to be smart about it and really do your research and kind of know if it's worth. Like it's like when people decide to go vegan. Like you can really get sick. If you don't do it properly.
After a couple of years, my dad's doctor said he would if he didn't stop. If he didn't at least start consuming meat, it was going to kill him.
Yeah,
he had a lot
of things in your body.
Yeah. And then he did it smart. My aunt Cheryl, she's been a vegan her entire life. I mean, 50 years. So he was smart. She told him, what to, supplements, everything else, and then finally the doctor said you're gonna die. His body for him. Rejecting it. His body just wasn't right. It wasn't doing it.
And so I just think though, like. I'm open to other things, but the Reke, I'm curious about other people's opinions on it, only because I'm not sure that I'm even like understanding what its meaning is.
I think you would have to be very open-minded to go do that. I'm already cynical just talking about it, so
kind of like a seance. Like you have to be open to it.
It's the same. I met a guy that years ago, a customer of ours that did hypnotism to stop people from smoking, and I told him, I said, I don't believe it works, and then I go, it's just a scam. And he goes, and you're the type of person I couldn't hypnotize. And he goes, you've really got to be people that come to
those are the people who join cults.
But he says, people that come and they want. He does the weight loss. He's the smoking cessation. He goes, if you really believe, he goes, I'm going to fix you. But he goes, you have to believe in what I'm doing, and you have to want this. But he goes, if you don't want to stop smoking, if like a spouse will send another spouse in, you're going to go get this done to stop smoking. And if they don't want to, he goes, it doesn't work.
Of course it's not going to work.
It's not. It's the power of positive thinking, or like you said, it's the brain is very powerful.
It definitely is. So those are interesting things when what works for some people might not work for another. But I think the acupuncture, I've heard lots of good things, like also for women who are having a hard time getting pregnant. I've heard a lot of women will go to an acupuncture and for maybe it helps with their stress level or it calms them down. Something, it does something, they get pregnant.
I had no idea. The amount, what stress does to the human body
stress, right.
is just unbelievable.
I had it done once. It worked. Acupuncture.
You get pregnant?
It worked. No, it was one of the times I threw out my back, and then my chiropractor's like, have you ever tried acupuncture? I go, it doesn't work. So we did 3 days of adjustments, and I mean, I wasn't at work. I couldn't move. Like it was either the third day or the fourth day. I can't remember. And I'm like you, Kerr. I hunched over. I couldn't move. Him and his nurse had every day had to help me onto the table. Yeah. And he finally goes, we're doing acupuncture today. He goes, you just, it is what it is. So I'm like, whatever. At that point, I'm in so much pain. So put the needles in, comes back in, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 minutes later, whatever it is. And he goes, all right, hop up off the table. And without thinking about it, I just hopped off the table. And I'm like, oh my God. And it was every day they had to help me on and then help me off to another table. And I just, without thinking, I just got up off the table.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful, because I can tell you, when my back's that bad, when I'm on a couch, I literally have to roll off the couch and I crawl to the bathroom on my elbows, on my forearms and my knees, because I can't get up. It's the most painful, controlling. It literally controls you, because it feels like someone has their hand on your lower back, and if you go to make a move, they squeeze and they freaking move you around.
We had to get a new. I know you guys got a new mattress recently. We went through that last year because I was with my lower back surgery. I still have issues with my lower back, nothing like it used to be. But now my issue is I'll have spasms in my upper spine, and it feels like my lungs are just completely being compressed, and you can't breathe. And just trying to find a mattress or a bed that
in the right spot, which is now tolerable. Jennifer's got the bed in a spot perfect for her, but when I lay on it,
that's because you're still a side sleeper.
It's
I had
bad.
to force myself to stay on my back.
So I've been sleeping on the couch just because when I tried sleeping on the bed, I wake up the next morning, I can't move.
It's because you're on your side. You're gonna have to force yourself to stay.
Yeah, Kevin and I definitely have different.
I like to sleep in the bed. You didn't like it.
No,
the way the bed feels. Like right now, this bed needs to be broken in a little bit more. It's a little too firm for me.
I can sleep in the backyard.
There you go, Kevin. Kevin, the bed needs to get broken in.
Yeah.
But you want to know the good thing about holistic stuff is really that it's not harmful enough. Like you could experiment with it or different ideas. Like I know aromatherapy works for some people for certain things, and there's just because the stress, how it affects the body and all that stuff. So I think there's no harm in anyone doing any of those things. But I think if you're going to completely stop a medication, that might not be the smartest thing to do without a doctor's approval.
Well, that's the huge problem there. Is not only that, I agree with you. Holistic stuff. I think that if you're eating better, if you're trying to live a better lifestyle, if you're trying to reduce stress, you're doing Tai Chi in the morning, whatever you're, removing gluten, whatever it is, the thing that you want to do.
Right.
That's great. But what the problem is when you stop taking medication, or you start looking for supplements, natural supplements,
that don't work.
Instead, because natural supplements, we talked about this, I was talking about this the other night, natural supplements still, if you were to hopefully get a supplement where what they say is in it is really in it, because they're not regulated by the FDA.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, us four could start our own, Broadleaf Bullies, homeopathic freaking vitamins and fill it full of grass clippings and say it's whatever, and there's nobody who's going to be the wiser. And there was an article in Time magazine several years back that had taken the top 10 multivitamins and different types of supplements, and they went in and looked in, and it was some of them had dirt, some had I mean, it was just, you would be amazed at what was in there. It's this says it's St. John's wort. Only 10% St. John's wort. The rest is crap. And it's still going to have an impact on your body. It's the reason why if you eat certain berries, you die, because there's the chemicals in that berry, or an animal that bites you, the venom, it actually has an impact on your body. I mean, there's a squid this big in Australia. If it stings you, it just turns your whole freaking nervous system to jelly. I mean,
that's crazy.
So there's things in nature that are natural that are good for you and bad for you.
Right.
But if you don't know what you're doing, or people, and this used to happen all the time when I was in pharmaceuticals, people didn't want to take Paxil or Prozac or an SSRI. They didn't want to take an antidepressant. So they would take St. John's wort, and they had no idea what they were taking, right? So either their depression would not be controlled, or it would be up and down, because maybe you get 1 month would have, the right amount, the next month not the right amount. And then they start increasing. Then they get serotonin sickness, which is having too much serotonin in your system.
I've never heard of that. That's a thing?
It is. It's a big thing.
Or you have people will start taking it while they're taking their Prozac or their Paxil, which is even worse. So they don't know what they're doing, because they're reading this, and my friend told me that if I take St. John's wort, I'm gonna feel a lot better, and you really got to watch what well,
it's like people too, like what things that they eat and drink, like, can affect their medication and stuff. That's why it's important. Even if you're on supplements, like if you're drinking a dairy product, or eating a dairy product, and you have like this thing and you throw up, maybe because you weren't supposed to take that with your belt.
Especially caffeine. There's so many drugs that have an interaction. There's a drug I used to sell called theophylline, and it's an oral bronchodilator. It's older.
Oh, okay.
And the problem with theophylline is that it had a thin window of efficacy, therapeutic window of efficacy. So if it was less than this amount in your bloodstream, they had to actually draw your blood and see how much was in your bloodstream. If it was less than that, it didn't work. If it was over than that, it could be toxic. The PI was front and back of how many drug interactions were in with this, because of the way that the liver metabolizes these drugs. And one of the drugs that has so many interactions, one of the things that has so many interactions with drug is caffeine. Because you figure, if you're taking a drug that's being metabolized through a certain pathway in your liver, think of it like a highway, right? If you have a highway where everyone's driving on it, it gets very congested and bottlenecked. So you have different drugs fighting for that pathway, which could increase the level, the concentration of that drug in your system, because it's being blocked by another drug, or caffeine's, being metabolized because it's a pure form and it's being metabolized. And this CAR, which is this drug, is just kind of bottlenecking. And drugs build up in your system because your liver is metabolizing drugs at a certain rate and can only do so many. And then other drugs will just build up in your system. And people don't realize it's just not drugs. It's foods. It's drinks. It's different things that nicotine.
I was just watching a thing on grapefruit juice, with drugs, and
grapefruit juice you can't take with
a couple antibiotics you can't take it with it.
Yeah, they say it. I guess because it's the same thing. It just builds up. It makes that drug stronger.
It just builds up in your system, and that drug in your system, it could be toxic.
Yeah.
There's some that has can impact the effect and lessen the effect.
How many people are drinking just straight grapefruit juice?
I love grapefruit juice.
Yeah,
just straight grapefruit juice, no alcohol in it.
No, that's just straight. I love grapefruit juice, and I do love pink grapefruit juice. But like,
I do like pink grapefruit to eat. I'm not really
diabetic medications too. I can't remember anymore. It's been a while, but there's a couple medications I sold that you couldn't drink grapefruit juice with it.
Huh.
You just couldn't.
Yeah, and it's been like years since I watched that like documentary on grapefruit juice and medicines. And they say like some medicines, like I said,
I thought you said you were just reading about it.
No, it was. I think it's been. I said I just watched it, but it was.
Watched it 5 years ago.
But and it was
in
like
a book.
Like they assume that you're gonna drink grapefruit juice. That's why some medications that they they
just assume that they don't. I'm never.
And it was somewhere.
Voluntarily
I'll have to go find that. And then it was. But yeah, it was. It blew me away. Grapefruit juice, like the most I think that was the title of the most dangerous drink there is.
Wow.
Grapefruit juice.
Some of the stuff, I mean, they got to let you know if there's drug interactions, but so they got to go beyond the drug interactions. So when it's shit like drinking alcohol will impact this, or drinking grapefruit juice, or drinking milk, or drinking caffeine, they got to let you know, because if you're like, okay, doc, see you later, and then you don't realize, or even food, just the way food impacts the way that you metabolize your medication, you absorb it.
most people are taking their medications probably in the morning, right?
It depends, though. It depends,
if you have your breakfast, no, I get that, but I'm saying like, grapefruit juice, I guess, would be maybe something you would have with your breakfast.
Possibly, but then you're also talking about some drugs and even I know vitamins. They always tell you, drink, and this is why I drink 1% milk, because there's fats in milk that are good that help you absorb vitamins better, because there's some medications, some drugs that are fat soluble, and they actually they absorb into your body better with high fat meals. Some don't with high fat meals.
See,
so
now
they tell you that.
With Gabby, I can't give her vitamins. Like, she has some kind of reaction to whatever dyes they use. Like, I'm talking when she was like smaller, they always had the gummy ones or whatever. It didn't matter. Whatever is in those vitamins, dye wise or whatever, she was like an evil, like crazy child.
There's dyes, there's fillers too, because there's medications that you can get with fillers that they use for the pill to keep it together.
I know that with Wyatt.
Because I'll tell you, we had. They talk about generics, how great generics are. Well,
generic is terrible.
Generic medications. The issue is that the FDA allows a 20% variance, higher or lower, of generics, and then they're being made. So we actually had an issue with generic antibiotics years ago, where everybody was getting sick because of the filler that they were using.
Oh, I believe it.
And it was from a certain company that utilized this filler in a lot of their medications, and a lot of people are getting sick. And he's like, "Yeah, well, this company, I prescribed XYZ, and they got sick as well." So it's amazing how those little itty bitty nuances and variances can really impact things.
It's true. Like, one time, Gabby was having an MRI, and they call it like the sleepy juice stuff. It amped her up. She was like,
yeah,
psycho.
Joe didn't do well with that either.
Yeah,
but also with that, there's an age range. They either need to be more newborn and then a little bit older. There was quite a range where if they had it, it was more of the adverse reaction of it.
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah. I was just like, this is insane. But it happens even now. Like, certain things in her diet like affect her badly. And so, like, when she was younger, that's why I took away I did a casein-free and gluten-free just to test and see, like, and I gave her like all different kinds of foods and stuff, and was able to introduce stuff back. But it was like almost like as if I treated like she had an allergy to stuff, because it would affect her badly. And I was like, man, but with Wyatt, talking about the fillers, his thyroid medication, he's always had name brand Synthroid. They gave him a generic one time, and he almost died from whatever they've used as a filler. And Medicaid was giving me a hard time. And I'm like, my kid almost died. He's never had generic. You give him generic because they didn't want to pay for the name brand. Yeah. But his doctor's saying he can't have it. He can only have the name brand. Well, and it was like they switched him fast, too. It was like all of a sudden we moved to Florida, and they were like, oh, he can have generic. Well, he's never had generic, So I didn't think anything of it, and then he almost died. We had to be hospitalized from it.
Carrie might be, or Jennifer even. What really is the difference between generic and, I guess, name brand or
branded?
Full strength or branded?
It's not full strength; it's branded. And the difference between the two is that, let's say, GlaxoSmithKline makes Paxil, right? GlaxoSmithKline goes through the whole process, getting it approved. And it has, here's our ingredients, here's what it is, approve it. Once it's approved, it goes into production, and it's made with the same ingredients, the same thing every single time. When you have a generic, when it goes off patent, you have a generic, as long as they get within 20% of that, high or low. So they say, okay, here's the molecule, right? The molecule is really where the efficacy comes from. So if they say, here's the molecule of Paxil, and we have our scientists making the molecule, so here's what we're going to have, but we may use a different ingredient or filler in order to make the pill. So,
and you might get that different every single time. You might get,
and if you got Baxter makes generics, or such and such makes generics, and a lot of pharmacies will always shop for the cheapest brand. So if I go in,
Okay.
if I'm getting Paxil monthly, I may go in and go, hey, here's my pink pill. And then a couple months later, I'm like, why is
Ooh.
my pill yellow?
Yellow. Yep.
Why
or
is my pill
orange.
square and freaking purple with pink polka dots? And it varies based off of the pharmaceutical company and how they want to differentiate themselves, but then also the fill that they use. But it's like having a recipe. A recipe is approved by the FDA, and that's the recipe they must follow every single time.
Right.
That is kind of the gold standard. And then
And-
generics
But
don't have
generics don't have to follow that exact
No.
recipe.
Well,
No.
not that recipe when it comes to the different fillers and the different compounds that they use to create that pill. They have to use the molecule.
So at the
So
end
they
of the
can
day,
create that molecule.
It's not consistent of your medication's not
Okay,
consistent.
right.
So like for someone like Wyatt who has anybody who has a thyroid problem, that's serious. Like that's a serious thing. You could die. So if if you're not taking your
Thorzine's
thyroid,
another one too. That when it went generic, it depends on the generic. You had people either bouncing off the walls or they were freaking drooling on themselves.
that's
No, what is that? What is that cure, or what is that for?
Thorazine
Here.
is
It's an antipsychotic.
Yeah.
It's a freaking not anti. What is it? It's an antipsychotic, but it's more of I can't think.
like a stabilizer.
Mood. It's more than a mood stabilizer. It is a mood stabilizing.
it's a mellower.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what class of
But for
medication
some
it's in.
people, it could have
Or antipsychotic.
Okay.
But something like that. In Thorazine, again, like I was talking about theophylline, where the efficacy window is very narrow. It's basically saying you got to hit, and everybody's different on how you metabolize stuff too. The way I metabolize a drug may be different from Jennifer. So,
okay.
So 20 milligrams may work for me, but she may need 10. So that's why the severity of your disease as well. But if you have that thin window of therapeutic effect, and you have a generic where it could be 20% more or less, is the basic way to put it. If you have less than that therapeutic dose, people are going to be bouncing off the walls. If you have more, then they're going to be overly sedated.
And I get the idea of generic for certain people. For my opinion, for Wyatt, I would fight to the death. I was like, he is not getting the generic, not just because, he had that effect, like that side effect that hurt him. It was the consistent, like his thyroid. I give him his medicine every time, pretty much the same time, except for when you give it to him. But it's pretty much at the same time. He's always had it. It's consistent. I know exactly what it is. He goes to the doctor regularly to get his blood work to make sure if they have to up the dose or lower it or whatever. But his thyroid affects him. Like it could spiral. He can get really sick if he didn't have the right medication for it.
We had that issue with pain meds and cardiac meds too. People are like, I want branded products. Or if you have a drug company or a insurance company that says, we're not paying for Oxycontin anymore, oxycodone, we're only paying for morphine. So now a doctor's got to transition from oxycodone to morphine, so they got to understand the conversion rate, how to titrate someone off while keeping them, out of pain into morphine. And I've had a lot of nightmare stories on that one too.
God, see, it's crazy.
And
yeah,
that
medication.
That can change too. I mean, I've seen it change from month to month.
Yeah, no, I will forever fight for the name brand.
Look what happened with me. My finger. One of the kids, Emma broke my iPad, and it was cracked, so I kept using it, and I got a small piece of glass in my finger, and I thought I got it out, but my finger got infected.
It was horrible.
It was horrible. It was purple, oozing pus.
Gosh.
My doctor was like, "Yeah, Carrie, glad you came to me now, because if you waited any longer, you'd be missing a tip of your finger." So I went and got an antibiotic. An antibiotic that's been around for ages. And they're like, yeah, it's not covered under your insurance. That'll be $180. I'm like, I was even more than that. I was like, this fucking drug's been around, it's older than me.
Right.
Like, there's millions of generics out there. Yeah, I know, but the generic's still expensive. And I went back and forth, and I'm like, listen, This is horribly infected, and I think I sat in line at CVS for a half an hour till they finally got things freaking like hammered out.
That's crazy.
Because it's like, well, here's your insurance, but they're not the ones who do your medication. You know, they have a different company that does your medication. It's like, okay, so great. So I got, Aetna insurance, but they're not the ones who really deal with my formulary status and my medication. So now you got to contact another mother. Well, do you have another phone number? I'm like, I got my insurance card. The number's on the back. You're the pharmacist. Stop counting in 2s and 5s and fucking call and get my drug approved. Do your job.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah. Sorry, pharmacist. I realize you do more than just counting 2s and 5s.
So
the schooling is horrible, but
So Kevin, how was your sticks and stones thing yesterday?
It was good. I was so scared about doing it. I was just so nervous that people were going to yell at me. They were gonna
What were the comments? We were at our niece's birthday dinner.
I did pop on though as we were driving back. Like I know you don't watch comments, which always pisses me off because I'm like,
I read every comment.
I should get preferential treatment in responses. I'm just saying, I don't have a beard, but I should. But we hopped in. I'm like, I'm 10 minutes from home. I want to smoke. Do not start smoking your cigar until I get home. I'm like pumping gas. I even dropped her off at the grocery store. I'm like, run in and get your fucking milk. I'm going to get the gas. I'm going to come back. And I saw at one point you had over 50 viewers.
Wow.
I think at one point we had 70.
Nice.
I know at one point, I know when I hopped on, I think there was 53 or 55. Yeah.
So what was the feedback with it? Tell me about the show because I didn't see any of it.
The feedback was incredible. Like everybody was like, a lot of people was like, and I try and tell people this was a $3 cigar. So a lot of people kept that in consideration. Then I
was shocked that a lot of people waited to smoke this.
Yeah, there's quite a few, and people loved it.
That's
and
the big point.
And a lot of comments were, I'm glad I know the story. And then I asked people at one point, and I go, now, those of you that have been smoking this, if I told you ahead of time, would you have bought this cigar? And a lot of people said no. It's like if they knew what was in it, they probably wouldn't have bought it. But so it was nice being, I don't it's nice that people trusted me. We sold 250 5-packs in 30 days, asked people to hold them for a month, not smoke them, so that was just a true testament of me.
That's
it's just
great.
Like people trusted me enough to buy a cigar they knew nothing about, going into it with like, this is going to be a $3 cigar. This is probably not going to be a fantastic cigar, but we trust Kevin enough to not steer us wrong.
But it's cool to learn other things too. Like this was also like a really cool, teachable, learnable moment, about this type of cigar and like what they did and how it came about. Where can you get that?
Yeah. Would you do it again?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, I would definitely.
Yeah, that was definitely neat.
I would definitely do it if something. I don't know what opportunity would be available to do something like this again, but
this was pretty unique. I mean,
it was a great concept,
and it was very educated. Like I said, I text messaged you. I was like, man, great show because the guy you interviewed was great. It was really cool to hear how they went through this process and how other people tried it and couldn't get it done, but how they were able to perfect it.
And it was a years-long process. It's not like they threw this together. They spent years. It's not the stems from one factory. It is, what did they say, 5 different factories, and then getting the percentages right and making sure that it's smokable. Is it a great cigar? No, it's not a great.
No, but what a unique.
It's not a great cigar, but it's a great. It's a good $3 cigar.
So what was one of the best comments that you got, and what was one of the worst?
I didn't get any bad comments, none on the live, and just not on the live.
Not on the live.
Not on the live. I would not put them on the live.
Yeah,
so just in general.
But
Some
there
people
was
were
there was
upset.
no. I mean, actually, probably one of the best comments outside of it, because all the comments that were, those are people that supported me.
Yeah,
Everybody
that
last
was all
night,
gonna be
those
positive.
weren't a lot of new people. Those are the people that supported me. So that we're always going to have really good comments like that. But beforehand, one of the best comments was someone bought them and started smoking them, and they reached out and goes, "Hey, are these still going to be available? This is a great cigar. I want to keep buying these." You know, so it's like that's
I didn't
kind
know
of,
that somebody did
you know,
that.
that's kind of awesome. But
Then you had the one person
I had the one
reach
guy
out
that
to
sent
you.
me a couple emails, and he was irate. And
he also called them.
he actually sent them like 8 emails, 2 guys, and it's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
And this
you
was only
like,
$15 for the pack.
yeah, you guys are shysters, and
Yeah.
you guys are ripping people off. And then Barry Stein from 2 Guys reached out to the guy. He goes, "I tell you what, keep the cigars. We'll give you your money back." And he didn't want his money back. They don't know what
bitch.
he just wanted it.
One
He
of
went
those
on my
guys.
my Facebook video.
Yeah.
He told people what it was because he found out what the cigar was. It was a rebranded El
You
Tayo.
had to delete it.
And I had to delete it, and then I deleted it off the YouTube video. And then
What an
at the
asshole.
end, he sent me a message, and he goes, "Okay, so here is what I think happened. I think that they told you this was something else, but they're actually just rebranding the El Tayo and selling them to you." And I'm like, "I'm not selling these cigars. You're not buying them for me." And I wanted to tell him, like, I know what they are, but I didn't tell him that.
Yeah.
I just stopped communicating with the
Which,
guy.
you know, I mean,
And-
I think
It was
he
me,
had-
Kevin. That was me.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
had a right to maybe be upset. No one's saying that he didn't, but he also didn't follow the directions that were
Yeah.
given out about
And I was
waiting.
very, very specific
You know?
in the 2 videos that
And
I
maybe-
put out.
And I feel like if he would have waited, maybe
Yeah.
it would have been a
No.
better experience
No.
for
I think he
him.
would have been disgruntled
No.
no matter
That
what.
person, listen, the key to that whole thing, Jessica, here's where I'll disagree with you, is when someone says to you, "I'm sorry that you're upset, keep the cigars, I'll send you your money back," and they say no.
True.
That's
They
just
still keep
someone
bitching.
who wants to bitch.
Yeah.
They want to freaking they want to suck that
Yeah.
energy. They're an energy
Yeah.
sucker, right?
Yeah.
We go back to
There
that.
we go.
But
All right, I agree.
That's just some people are like that. You know, no matter what you try and offer, you know,
So
was it the
if
best?
that was the
Was it the best
Right.
cigar? No. But I
Right.
thought to spend $15 on 5 cigars and go through this process and learn something from it, I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. I personally didn't like the cigar. I told Kevin, I said, if I smoke it for like 5 or 10 minutes and then leave it and then stop and walk away, and then I come back later, I could do it in sections like that.
yeah.
But am I upset that I bought 2 packs? Fuck no. I mean, it was really cool to support Kevin, but it was even cooler to go through this process and learning that they're recycling everything of the tobacco, and they're making
Right.
what they can out of it. And if you have, listen, I don't care if you go through this process and make this cigar, or if you freaking, make whatever cigar. I don't care. I mean, you've seen all the different kind of brands out there. You're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
find a market that people are going to want it, and they're going to like it, they're going to buy it. If people like it and they buy it, then victory.
Yeah.
Right.
Not everybody's going
right,
to like your
absolutely.
cigar. I mean,
No, and that's the truth. And I think out of all of the feedback that you could have gotten that could have been negative, you did it. So, and I think if people do like that cigar, that's awesome. And if
Sound
for
like
the
that
people who did
person
it,
likes the bitch, just the bitch.
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
No matter
dude,
what.
I'm sure you're not the
he wasn't
first
gonna get
person
an
who
answer.
got an
But
email
I-
from that
Yeah.
guy.
but I think the whole concept of how they make the cigar and what the story behind it is freaking fantastic.
It was cool,
Yeah.
and then I was very,
Yeah.
very specific in both videos that I had nothing to do with the blend of the cigar. I told people, I said, I found this cigar interesting. I wanted to be on board with this promotion to try and bring something else that's not on the market, something completely off.
Yeah.
So what was your
yeah.
total sales of how many you sold?
Just a couple days prior to the show, we had sold 255 packs. So I did another video that got uploaded today. So we'll see. And then, and with last night, we did have some comments, oh, I'm going to go buy another 5 packs. I want to have my friends smoke it as well. So,
cool.
So we'll see how many
Yeah.
more get sold over the course of the next week or two. And we'll go from there,
Yeah.
and
And it was just something fun to do.
My question
You know?
is, Kevin, is how did you come up with that blend?
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
No, but you know what? But it was also you doing something to try to get people to be interactive and do something where everybody's enjoying it at the same time. You know, that's a cool concept too that not many people get to do. It's just everybody there that was on could be smoking the same cigar.
Yeah, it was different than everybody has a herf. Everyone gets together, they smoke, and it's cool. I mean, listen, I've done them. It's a lot of fun. You smoke cigars, maybe Fuente Friday. Everybody gets together and smokes Fuente. Nobody's ever said, buy and wait 30 days. We're going to do a live show, crack it open, and we'll all start smoking together, and then I'll tell you what's in it. Mm-hmm. To be able to do that is pretty cool, man. Pretty powerful.
Now, was each cigar different, or was it five of the same?
It was 5 of the same, but just because of the way it was made, each cigar is going to be different because it's not like as Kerr would know, you know, or even you, Jen, you know, when you're having a recipe for a cigar, you know, you have your Seco, Viso, Ligero. It's all the tips are facing this way, you know, it's whole leaf. You know, when you're sprinkling, you know, and he went over, it's got 20% of this, 12% of this, 18% of this. And basically you're having to sprinkle it together. You know, there's no way to get that homogeneous every single time. So your cigar is going to smoke a little different every single time.
Yeah.
But it'll be still a familiar taste every time. Yeah. It's going to smoke just a little bit different. And then what I was the most nervous about is because I do have, as Kerr knows, and you ladies know, I do have a blend, you know, a national release coming up with a big time maker, and that was
my fear.
I was a little scared that if this went wrong, they wouldn't trust me on my next one.
But this
is totally different. Yeah. But, if anyone compared that to what's coming up, then they're just idiots and they shouldn't buy it anyway.
Yeah, and at least with the one coming up, you're going to know ahead of time. It's made this maker. It's this. You're going to have all of the facts right up front. So
But he was able to prove that if he can pull this off or do something like this, then having a cigar with a name brand and literally have all the knowledge and information up front, that it will be not only a great cigar, but the success of the marketing behind it will be even that much greater.
Oh, it's a great cigar.
Yeah. So, the one coming up is definitely and Kerr knows. Kerr smoked it.
Yeah, no, it is, and I just think that, you know, I think what you did with this was really cool, and I always enjoy the educational end of things, especially when it's something different. You know, that's why I like talking to Lars about some of his stuff, even though he always likes to play it close to the vest. Yeah. I do like to hear him talk, especially when he starts talking about Ligero. Because when he starts talking about Ligero, he's like, oh, yeah, I start using that, you know, 30 years ago when they were using it as mulch. Like, he goes, they were giving me Ligero.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like, nobody was using it. They were just giving it to me because they were using it as mulch.
Yeah, because nobody smoked strong cigars. You know, back at
it was always,
you know, Davidoff was king in the 80s. You know, those light Connecticut, you know.
Yeah.
You know, in 70s, you know, people were smoking Cubans, you know, just their light, not full-bodied cigars, you know. So for someone to come out and want to use Ligero, that's insane.
Yeah, and you're talking about them using that as just mulch, and he's getting it, you know, dirt cheap and free, almost free. And he's like, yeah, I used it. Then you start talking about his aromatics, and he's always close to the vest on that. But, you know, I always do enjoy hearing some of his stories on how he's come about things, because it's just so different. And especially when he was doing it, he's been doing it for as long as he has been. So this is like kind of in that wheelhouse. It's different. It's just completely different.
Yeah, it's outside
to be able to get that
box.
percentages, like he was talking about, the perfect blend in order to be able to use and recycle and have it burn right and have it taste good is pretty impressive.
You know, and that's what we like doing as a show. You know, like and there's very few shows, weekly shows that I watch that I enjoy. I love watching your show because I always learn. You know, you're always learning something. You know, there are other people that have these weekly shows that have no content.
No, but I think that's key.
They're just talking to hear themselves talk. They ask a few questions that everybody else has already asked. We all know the answers. Dig deep.
I think it's important. I think most people who are watching the shows, not all of them are new cigar smokers, but if you do have one, how else are they going to learn more about cigars or get into that culture if no one's like saying anything of importance for them to learn? Like, it's one thing to be, entertaining and like a showman, but it's another thing to be educational, and still make it where people want to watch.
You got to make it fun. You got
you
to make it
still make it
entertaining,
fun,
goofy and stuff, but educational and something where
a nice mix.
And even some of the shows where it may not be educational that I've held, it's just like having good conversations. And I know that I'm not as organized as Kevin is when it comes to his shows. I'm just not.
You don't have a clipboard.
But what I like about your show and being on your show is you're 15 minutes into your show and like I completely forget where I'm at. Like we're just having this conversation like a group of guys in a lounge. Like that's what we would talk about. And then that's why I love Lars being part of your show. And then he would just say something like wacky or funny, or tell a story, I remember back in like 1987 and like this chick is, and I'm like, wait, what? And it's hilarious. And, but and then at the same time, he's got these incredible, knowledgeable stories.
It's educational. You learn about other people, common interests. It's just very well-rounded. It may not seem it at the time.
The only thing I do before show is I do have kind of an agenda. But I let it flow, and then I'll do a little nudge towards what the agenda is.
Yeah.
And, I kind of manage the same way. Nudge management. You don't tell someone what to do. You just nudge them in the right direction. And I nudge
to get them back.
I nudge the conversation along a pathway, and we may go like this.
Yeah.
But we are going to get and stay on what the agenda is. Now, next week, we're supposed to have Gary on. He had to cancel, but I'm really interested in learning more about the brand, 1776 and everything else like that. Yeah. But I'll do a little bit of research on it, but most of the time it's going to be more conversational, just as it would be, Kevin, like when you sit down and you hang out with Eric Espinoza and you're just like, dude, I got a million questions for you. How do you come up with this? How do you come up with that? Or, if you sat down with Willie Herrera, you're going to sit down, you're going to have these conversations, and it's more natural. And I don't know. I just always kind of did it that way. And I've watched other people's shows, and for how organized and structured all that your show is, it doesn't come off that way. There's a lot of shows that will have notes, and I'll be like, and there's a build up here in the Parkway, or they'll have a script on the background. They're like, yes, I want to talk to you today about, and they're reading something, and it's very canned.
It's canned, and what my biggest pet peeve, like I said, if I don't know a lot about a manufacturer or a subject, so I'll watch an interview, I'll try and do something, watch
do your research, man. They
did years ago, and then someone will, they'll ask a question like they have on their sheet. That person will answer the question, and then they'll go on to the next question, and I'm like, wait, I have three questions. Like he led you into this. I mean, let's go down this path. He said this. Why aren't you asking about that? Why aren't you asking about that tobacco, that whatever?
Right.
And it's like, why did you not answer that follow-up question? There were so many. So they don't have follow-up questions.
But I think that's what you do well, is that Kevin listening, and he'll make a little note.
Yeah.
As if it's something that they said, he's like, ooh, like now I want to know more about that, because it leads off from the answer to the original question, but it goes more in depth, and he thinks that's going to be good because that's what the viewers probably want to hear. There's somebody yelling, going, oh, I want him to answer that.
Well, the thing is,
Kevin's really good at doing that as well.
With that, it's kind of funny. It always reminds me of like in sales. It's like, you ask a question, and then you listen to what they're saying, and it builds on, and you could go in another direction. But there's a lot of folks that are afraid to ask the question because they don't have either the knowledge to have an interaction with someone, or they haven't done their research and their homework on them. So they'll ask those typical canned, questions, and keep it very like I said, very robotic. And then if it does start going off another direction, it really quickly goes back to the agenda. and I never allow the agenda to kind of dictate the flow.
Yeah.
You know, at all. You know, I want the flow to just go, and then I'll dictate where to plug in the agenda according to the flow and the feedback that I'm getting. And one of the things I did was, this was a while back, we had Lars on the other podcast I used to do, and I wanted to have him on the show. And, you know, there was some feedback on, you know, this, that, the other thing. And I went back and I watched some of his old interviews, and I noticed something is that people were just asking him stupid fucking questions.
I
Right?
know.
And then he would answer.
Because they weren't taking him seriously.
And then he would answer these questions like, and then so when I brought it up, they're like, wow, you hear his response, you see how he's acting. I'm like, trust me. So we did the interview, and afterwards he and I were talking. He's like, I want to do more shows with you. I go, why? He goes, because you don't ask me stupid questions. He goes, and I picked up on that very, he goes, I answer some of the questions that are asked me. He goes, I answer with these stupid answers. He goes, because if you're going to ask me a stupid question, then I'm going to really be even crazier. And Lars is already Lars. But then when
he's not a stupid person. And I think it's shameful.
He's really
I think it's shameful that just because somebody is a little eclectic or unique or odd in other people's minds, instantly they treat them as if they have no brain.
Well, no, exactly. Or they're freaking anything other than they are. It's
his
like
creative and business sense is.
You have to know creative. You have to understand creative people to really appreciate who they are.
Well,
you know, sometimes they're going to be bombastic. Sometimes they're going to be this. Sometimes, but at the end of the day, I've had too many one-on-one conversations with him, where he is a genuinely good person, genuinely sweet person, genuinely generous person, who doesn't have an agenda.
And he has knowledge on everything. There is, I don't think that there is a topic that you could even bring up, like the wildest, whatever you want to talk about.
Expert in everything.
Yeah, he'll be like, yeah, I've done that. You know, it's like, wait, what? You know, yeah, let me tell you a story about like how that came about. Or I'm like, get the hell out of here.
I've had people go, you know what, man, he's full of shit. And I'm like, if he's full of shit, he is the most knowledgeable full of shit person, because I've dealt with people who are full of shit, and they can only go so far until the truth comes out. Really, I mean, you can only go so far until the truth starts leaking out, and you're like, okay, you're full of it. Right. But Lars has way too much detail and information. Even when he was talking about the one show, he was talking about the one cigar that he sold. He was like some ridiculous price, and everybody's like, "Come on, man!" He's like, "Well, no, it was called such and such ivory because it was pulled from the tree in Africa.
I think that was the last,
and it was polished, and it was pink." He goes, and it looked like the pink ivory, and he got this great detail, and he's talking about the boxes and everything that he did, and you're just like,
he really is just
the dude just
brilliant.
Didn't pull that one out of his ass, you know. And when we had him on our podcast before, one of the guys asked him a question about, you know, guitars or something. He's like, hey, do you know such and such? He's like, yeah, I do. And he goes, yeah, he gave me this guitar, and he holds it up, and it was just like, all of a sudden it was like, okay, this guy's like for real. Like he's not full of shit, you know, especially when you hold up someone's guitar and it's very noticeable that, you know,
he's definitely worldly in a sense. Like he's definitely done a lot and has a lot of knowledge and stuff, you know, but I think, you know, he might not be everyone's cup of tea, which is fine, but I don't think anyone should ever think that somebody doesn't have something to offer. Like we all can learn something from people.
Oh, definitely.
And I think that's like the biggest crime that people commit against each other is like not giving people a chance.
No, they don't give them a chance to.
They don't.
Or accept them for their differences. And I've learned that probably the best over the last several months to a year.
Yeah.
You know, kind of being, you know, when you're in a vacuum or you're in an echo chamber, you know, after a while, you know, you're either going to buy into it and freaking start, you know, freaking drinking the freaking Kool-Aid, or you start going, something's not fucking right here.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you start poking at the fucking at the soft spots, and you realize your finger's just going through tissue, you know, you're like, okay, it's time for me to step out of this freaking echo chamber, because it's not healthy. It's not cool, and most of all, it's a bunch of shit. It's just a bunch of shit, and I want to be able to experience and understand and learn and know other people, and I think even the shows where it's just us hanging out talking, we brought on Des in England, nicest freaking guy, man, super cool ass guy,
aka Les,
aka Les. But having Lars on is just,
it's awesome.
it's always, because you never know what's going to happen. You
never know what he's going to break out into song.
Last week was great when Kevin's like, there's someone like filming, that could be on YouTube, someone's filming going, look at that crazy guy on the corner of Jersey City with a selfie stick, Oh, this one's gonna check your head. Check your
nugget. He starts off the song, someone blasted her in the ass, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. And
Kevin told me that, and I was like, wait, what? What'd he say?
On the corner of
Jersey City. It is in a neighborhood. Some old lady having her cigarette late
9
at
night,
and you see some guy in a cowboy hat talk about blasting her in the ass and shit like that, and I'm like, fucking, that's Lars, man. I mean, but
and with Lars up, we finally got to try your salt this morning. So I made breakfast this morning,
how was it?
I made some bacon, and I bake my bacon in the oven.
That's how I make it as well.
Yeah, so I laid it all out, and then I put the BSR Cigar Fam seasoning salt over it, and then gingerly sprinkled some of his Rage, the spicy stuff on top of it. Oh my god, that's I put your salt on my eggs. Oh my god,
so good. I use that.
I use it on everything, and it gives such amazing flavors. We had grilled chicken tonight. I had split chicken breast. So what I did was make a compound butter with our Stogie Road salt in butter, lifted up the skin, smeared the breast meat, then put it on the skin itself, then flipped it over and took Lars's spicy seasoning salt and put it on the other side, grilled it.
It was awesome.
Oh my god. The natural flavor that you get from the chicken and then the spices, it's just so freaking good.
I was thinking it would make a good, like a fried chicken or a fried pork chop with that crispy, like your salt and in the flour bath.
No, like a KFC chicken, like the hard.
Yeah,
like, it really. It's just. We also roasted Brussels sprouts. I used Lars's spicy seasoning salt on that. Just that.
It's
little
garlic.
Olive oil.
That sweet
kind of garlic is
freaking.
Garlic love.
But even his
awesome.
his seasonings, right? You would think, all right, the guy's making seasonings, whatever. And I've had special seasonings here and there, and whatever else. And you're like, what is he like? Getting a big pack of McCormick and just like,
no.
I'll tell you, when you
it.
taste it, you're like, God dang! And one of the ingredients that he used in ours. He said, because we talked to him on how we wanted it done.
One day you'll know, not today.
He said,
it's okay.
He said,
today's not the day.
Today's not the day.
He said,
you'll have to get me.
He said, I've never used this
something.
before. I've never done this before. He's like, but Kerr, he goes, it's freaking came out great.
Awesome.
And he sent it to us, and I'm like, no shit, man. This is fantastic.
You would never
stuff.
guess in a million years.
I mean,
it's fantastic.
It's MSG.
No.
MSG.
But
Anna Genovese said the same thing. She posted a picture in less than a week, half the bottle's gone. Her mom's using it. She's like, they're putting it breakfast, lunch, and dinner, different vegetables, not needing to add any other seasoning, just
But our seasoned salt also is a great holistic way of reducing your blood pressure.
Okay.
Is it, Kerr?
Yeah.
No,
so,
actually,
sure.
Salt, so.
You sent us that hot sauce.
Yeah,
I did. I put it on my eggs. Holy.
Which hot sauce
awesome.
was it?
What was it?
With
the Justice.
chick on it.
The Justice Brat.
We don't
the
have
Justice
that.
Brat. So
We have
freaking
his
good.
other one.
He sent me the one with the CBD, and it looks like he's like humping his girlfriend or something. I mean, I don't know.
Or something
But
like that.
I put it on. She baked wings and just crisped them up, and I put on the wings, and I'm like, I gotta tell you, it's that fine balance between sweet and spicy.
Yeah.
It was just so damn good, and
I put it in a quiche in the egg part of it.
yeah, that was really good. But I fell in love with his seasoned salt when I first got it.
It's really good.
And his sweet honey garlic. Jennifer put it on steaks one night, and I got to tell you, I was like, this is
really
took the
excellent.
just. It was so subtle, but so incredible. And he talks about his spices. Remember, Kevin? I think you asked him a question about the adobo or something. He started talking about Spain and going in there and start pulling out this spice and that spice.
So he knows what he's using. You know, it's not like you know I'm just going to use this. You know, because
like
I only use
this,
two.
A little of that.
You know, before your spice and then his spices, I mean, I only use two. I mean, there's a great one called Everglades. It is a fantastic seasoning salt. I use that, and then
on everything,
on everything, and then I actually
Mrs.
use
Dash.
I know, and I keep a bottle of MSG. I like MSG. It is fantastic on everything. And like I said, I don't ever see going back. I mean, your seasoning salt. And then we love his garlic, that garlic one.
I like different seasons. Yeah. So like I use it when I cook. Kevin does not. But now pretty much all these other seasonings are kind of what I would use. You know, I try to like experiment and kind of mix different ones to make ones that I like.
Because I'm curious on different foods. Like I know pork chops great. You know, steaks great. You know, tomorrow I'm going to do a pork loin, but like I've done my array of meats. I've done fishes. I've done breakfast. I've done different, you know, it's hard to find something that I'm like, I did not like it on it. I haven't found
it's pretty
it
universal.
Yet. Now I found coffees that I think absolutely suck, and I'm done buying other coffees.
We're done with our coffee venture.
With Starbucks now. But
now you're a fan of the curry, so he sent us the curry seasoning. What is that? You know, like
you can use it on anything.
Okay,
Shrimp,
that's what I'm saying.
Rice.
Yeah, okay. So is that that's what I was going to say. What would you put a curry on? I don't want to use it.
Depends. It depends.
Well,
there's your traditional Indian foods that are curry based, right?
Yeah.
But you can put curry. You know, it depends on if you like it. You can put it on whatever.
Yeah,
like,
definitely try it before.
Like there's times I've gotten like for lunch, if I get a cup of noodles, like, and I'm in a hurry. And I'll put in the water. I'll just take some curry and dump it in there and mix it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like it's a fish seasoning or it's a
definitely
okay.
try it first.
I've had like curry with crab and stuff before too.
Oh, okay.
So you
don't need much. It's a very strong spice.
Is it? Okay.
The one thing I had years ago was someone made chicken salad and put curry in chicken salad.
Okay.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Not tuna. Chicken salad. Tuna has its own flavor to it, and the curry and the tuna in tuna salad doesn't really go well. But if you take
the
curry
only thing that goes
chicken
with tuna salad is
I
really
I like chicken and rice with curry and stuff.
Maybe we'll try and do a chicken and rice dish
and like
something.
vegetables and stuff. Like it's almost like a stir fry.
Yeah. If you do anything, I know like you know, a lot of the Indians' food are like a lot of yogurt based, you know, or even like a marsala sauce with some. And they curry the chicken
I was going to say,
marsala.
Something like almost like a cream, right?
Creamy, like a good
texture.
creamy marsala sauce, a red sauce. You know, they use it in that, which is freaking out of this world. Yeah. But I've had sandwiches with chicken salad with curry in it.
I'm going to try that now because I love chicken
salad. But also, I got to tell you, this is great because they serve this in England. You get a baked potato, and you put chicken salad in a baked potato with curry on the chicken salad.
Oh, I'm doing that.
I'm going to tell you something, Jess. Doing that. You will be like, motherfucker, hot baked potato, a cold chicken salad that has curry mixed in it. You're going to love it. It is really...
Oh, we're doing that. We're having that on Tuesday.
Now, do you like egg salad?
I do.
Because
that would be good. Egg salad.
Well, that and I made an egg salad for us. It's probably been like a year ago. But instead of like a mayonnaise or anything else, we did made guacamole.
Oh yeah.
And then used that in the egg salad and did an egg salad made with guacamole.
It was awesome.
It was amazing.
Yeah, with a little jalapeno in it. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't heavy like we did a little bit with the yogurt and the sour cream. Like he did a light recipe. But it was really,
but it
really
was a guacamole egg salad, and it was really.
See, and I like
good.
to add like paprika or something hot on mine, so the curry would go good.
Yeah, I've had egg salad. A little bit spicier like that because even growing up I loved egg salad because I always would open up and I put a lot of pepper on it
Yeah.
and then eat it. I've also had different chicken salads where they'll put pine nuts in it, or you get a summer with grapes,
like a Waldorf.
or
See, I
something
like mine
that.
with cranberries sometimes.
Yeah, I like it a little bit.
It's okay, just a little, just a few in there, not a lot. It's so good.
No, it's not.
But
God,
I do like a good egg salad sandwich. I mean, egg salad is
just classic.
Yeah,
I think
very
I'm hungry.
Squishy bread.
Now I want a baked potato. Now I want egg salad. Now I want guacamole.
Yeah.
I could eat sandwiches all the time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, just baked potato, make chicken salad. And honestly, all you gotta do is just take chicken, good roasted chicken.
Oh
mix
yeah, I'm
in
getting
some mayonnaise,
chicken.
and then just freaking. You don't need to put any of it, and put in the curry, and that's it. Then stuff a baked potato, and you're gonna be like, son of a bitch, what the hell?
Yeah, I might have to add cheese to mine though.
Yeah.
What?
Cheese.
Yeah, I like cheese on my egg salad and chicken salad. I like a slice of cheese. Yeah, I like a slice of cheese.
I was just gonna sprinkle a little bit of cheese, not like a slice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering a single on top of a baked potato.
Yes, yeah. I like egg salad on toast. So
do I. That's
toasted bread, and then
No, I'm totally doing it. You don't have to eat it. I'm eating it that way.
But I also like in the restaurant we had a chef that made pitas with egg salad.
Oh, that's good.
With
I've had
tomatoes and lettuce and like a pita, which was really good.
Pita bread.
I'm interested in his Philadelphia cheesesteaks seasoning.
Kind of like like a falafel with
we haven't opened up the cheesesteak one yet.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that.
And it's like a really coarse.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's got a lot of like oregano. I mean, I don't know what's in it, but
to be honest, I would probably cook that with do a chicken cheesesteak or something and use it on that.
I'm also wondering if that would be good in as some seasoning in a sauce, like a spaghetti sauce,
or as a rub or something.
Yeah, because we used to make we're Pennsylvania Philly cheesesteaks, but my dad always made different cheesesteaks too.
Yeah,
it was literally minute steak, onions, peppers, mushrooms, and some cheese. I bet you I would love to taste that. I didn't realize he had so many different sauces, and then he sent me the list, and I'm like.
Yeah, that's
I was like,
that I had this morning.
Lars, I don't want to sound like an ungrateful bastard, but
where's my goddamn
I really
curry?
like effing curry.
We still don't have it, Lars, if you're watching this.
I know, right? If you listen to this, Lars, I still would like to have that curry. I'm sending it to you, baby. I love you. I'm like, I love you too.
It was funny. I was at work a couple weeks ago, and someone asked me a question, and I said, "Baby," and I'm like, and they're like yelling it across the shop, like I'm working on it, baby. And it's like, I think it was like the day after
Lars is influenced
because Lars says that all the time.
Yeah,
he
that's
said
weird for you.
It wasn't, and I'm like, why did I say that? And it's just
you
like,
probably looked up like what?
Yeah,
Who said that?
But yeah, I said that. I'm like, goddamn Lars rubbing off on me.
That's great. Yeah, well, that's a news story. I think Lars. All right. Anyway, so
we should wrap it up.
This is a great show. On that note, Lars rubbing off on Kevin.
That's it. Well, on that note, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Kerr.
I'm Jen.
And remember, bullies make good friends.
From Kev, Jess, Kerr, and Jen, we are the Broadleaf Bullies. Thank you for joining us, and remember, bullies make good friends.